My Beautiful Marilyn. By Ashenafi. EXT Apartment Buildings, Nashville, morning 2017. Spacious 1 and 2 bedroom courtyard view apartments. They all face in either 2 or 3 directions and have lots of light. The large courtyard, with many trees and flowering bushes, is perfect for barbecues, picnics, and relaxing. We see tennis courts, basketball court, soccer field, baseball diamond. Our camera gradually comes to one of the apartment buildings through the window. Int. Apartment building, living room, day. An effortlessly furnished living room. It contains a matching love seat and queen sleeper sofa with solid lodgepole wood frames, and coordinated pillows and an IKEA coffee table. On the wall, we see the famous poster of Marilyn Monroe in 7 Years Itch, her white dress getting blown up above her waist by a passing train below her. A handsome man named Charlie, 28, sits at the glass dinner table with his laptop, finishing his latest movie script, Delicious French Kiss. There is a bottle of red wine Chateau Margaux, an empty wine glass and a drawing of a beautiful girl named Natalie on the table. She's Charlie's ex-girlfriend. But we don't know that yet. Insert, Charlie's computer screen. EXT French Riviera, beach, sunset. Chris and Melissa kiss lying on the shore as the twilight scatters across the ocean and the water crashes on their bodies. Chris is on the top. Melissa is at the bottom. Then, with amazing camera work and superimpose, we see Chris, Charlie himself, and Melissa, the girl from the drawing, Natalie, making out on the screen, overlaid with the scripts. Close up, Chris and Melissa. They part their lips. He gazes at Melissa's eyes tenderly. Charlie as Chris, why do I feel like you cast spell on me? Natalie as Melissa, what make you say that? Charlie as Chris, I can't get enough of you. He gives her a soft kiss on the lips. Natalie as Melissa, tell me something I don't know. Charlie as Chris, like what? Natalie as Melissa, do you love me? There is a pause. He then. Charlie as Chris, more than life itself. Melissa smiles in beauty. He gives her a soft kiss on the lips. She throws her arms around his neck, they kiss more intimately. The end. Charlie sits back. He grabs the bottle, pours the wine in the glass, and drinks everything as if it were water. He looks at the painting of Natalie for a long second. He then turns his eyes and looks at the poster of Marilyn Monroe. She gives him a wink. Charlie thinks it's the wine. What the hell? He winks at her back. EXT/int. Charlie's convertible, moving, day. It is 1992 blue Chevrolet Corvette convertible. Charlie is behind the wheel, driving in the evergreen state of Tennessee. On the soundtrack, Slow Dancing in a Burning Room by John Mayer plays melodiously. There is a printout of the script, Delicious French Kiss, in the passenger seat. He turns his eyes and looks at it. He felt a sense of pride but he is lost deep in a thought. Charlie then looks at his image in the rearview mirror and gives him a smirk as if the image in the mirror were a total different person. Montage. We see Charlie driving through Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and Nevada in his way to Los Angeles, California. On the soundtrack, Slow Dancing in a Burning Room by John Mayer continues to play melodiously. Meanwhile, we watch important landmarks, wild animals, and other things, such as the Delta in Arkansas, American bison in Oklahoma, Llano Estacado in Texas, Wheeler Peak and Sangre de Cristo Range in New Mexico, the cactus in Arizona, casinos and the Mojave Desert in Nevada, the Grand Canyon, etc. EXT Norma Jean, restaurant, Needles, California, night. Convertible Corvette. Charlie comes driving and pulls his car near the restaurant. He grabs his movie script from the passenger seat, gets out of the car and come to a payphone. On the soundtrack, the music falls in the background and plays softly. Phone booth. Charlie grabs the phone, inserts 2 coins and dials a number. Answering machine picks it up, this Natalie. I can't come to the phone right now. I am with my boyfriend, but if you leave your name and number, I'll get back to you as soon as I'm done with him. Charlie, hi Natalie. This is Charlie. I called you to tell you I am in my way to LA. I finished the script. Pause, he doesn't know what to say. Anyway, I will call you when I get there. Bye. Charlie hangs up the phone and walks to the restaurant. Int. Norma Jean, restaurant, night. It is a Denny's-like restaurant in a grand scale. We see the pictures of Marilyn Monroe everywhere. Charlie enters in ease, walks down the restaurant, and sits at a booth. Charlie grabs the menu and looks at it. Wearing a white dress and blonde wig, a waitress named Rachel comes up to Charlie's table. Rachel, what can I get you? He looks at her. She looks like Marilyn Monroe. He turns his attention to the menu and surveys the dessert section. Charlie, I'll have raspberry pie. Rachel, that's dessert. Charlie, I am not that hungry. I just have a craving for sugar. Rachel, right. She writes down his order. Rachel, anything to drink? Charlie, no. I am fine. Rachel, okay. I'll be with you in a minute. She gives him a soft alluring smile and walks away. Charlie turns his eyes and looks at the photos of Marilyn Monroe on the wall, Marilyn in the asphalt jungle, Marilyn performing Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, Marilyn standing next to the waterfall, Marilyn and Joseph Cotton at the Premium of Niagara, Marilyn, Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon in the set of Something Like It Hot, Marilyn and Clark Gabriel in Misfit, Marilyn putting signatures, hand, and footprints in cement at Grauman's Chinese Theater with actress Jane Russell, Marilyn with Sammy Davis Jr., Marilyn and Lauren Bacall in How to Marry a Millionaire, Marilyn in Let's Make Love with Eve Montan and Tony Randall, etc. Charlie is mesmerized. Then Rachel returns with his raspberry pie and places it on his table. Rachel, enjoy. Charlie, thanks. Rachel, you welcome. She walks away. Charlie grabs the fork, takes a piece, and has some pie. He looks at the photo of Marilyn in the 7-year itch, her dress getting blown up above her waist by a passing train below and Tom Ewell standing and looking at her in amazement. Charlie turns his eyes and looks at his script's delicious French kiss, flips the first page, and reads few lines in between enjoying his raspberry pie and looking at Marilyn Monroe photos. Then our camera comes to one of Marilyn Monroe photo, rearranges the pixels in the photo, create galaxies and stars. With amazing camera work, we find ourselves traveling through cosmos and multiverse, and arrive to an Earth-like planet. We then come to Stardust Club at the year 1951. Int. Stardust Club, night. 1951. It's a seductive 5 stars jazz house. On the stage, we see Marilyn Monroe singing, Diamonds Are Forever. Down by the stage, elites, cream of the crops, and gangsters sit at tables with drinks, enjoying the show. Int. Museum, Diamond Necklace Room, night. Splendid Marie Antoinette diamond necklace is in a glass display box at an unknown museum. On the soundtrack, we continue to hear Marilyn's Diamonds Are Forever. Int. Museum, hallway, night. Charlie, wearing a ski mask, walks down the hallway, and comes to the diamond necklace room. Int. Diamond necklace room, night. Charlie takes out a smoke-emitting device from his bag, presses a button and puts the device on the floor. The device emits smoke and fills the house with thin cloud, revealing layers of security beams. Charlie then slowly begins to move through the security beams like a ballet dancer as we continue to hear Marilyn's Diamonds Are Forever. A medium shot of Marie Antoinette diamond necklace. Charlie continues to move through the security beam and reaches the destination. He comes up to the security box that's attached into the wall, opens it and begins to deactivate the security beam. Int. Stardust Club, night. Back to Marilyn. She continues to sing Diamonds Are Forever. We stay with her for a little bit. Int. Museum, hallway 2, night. At the other side of the hallway, another man wearing a mask, Max, 28, comes to the screen. He looks around, and walks toward the direction of the camera, the diamond necklace room. Int. Stardust Club, Frankie's office, night. A charismatic man named Frankie, 38, who runs the business at Stardust, and Marilyn are kissing. We don't know if they are couple or lovers. Nonetheless, they are going at it as if they got the world on the string. Int. Museum, diamond necklace room, night. Close up, Charlie. Charlie is in the middle of salvaging Marie Antoinette diamond necklace out of the glass display box with a laser cutter. He cuts the glass cabinet successfully, takes the diamond out, and puts it in his bag. As he turns around, he sees Max standing right behind him. Like a shock scene out of horror picture, Charlie is taken by the element of surprise. Max quickly hits Charlie on the temple with a rubber stick that mobs use, and knocks him unconscious on the floor. Max comes to Charlie, takes the diamond from his bag, and looks at it. Max then slowly takes Charlie's mask, freezes as if he saw the surprise of his life, asking himself, where do I know this guy? Unexpectedly, Charlie comes out of unconsciousness, grasps Max's legs with his legs and trips him down on the floor, knocking the necklace from his hand. Charlie quickly jumps on Max's face and begins to wrestle against him. Charlie throws one punch after another. Max blocks the punches, hits Charlie on the face, and flips him away from his chest. They both get on their feet, holding their fists. They begin to go at it with style like professional prize fighters. After they exchange a couple of punches, the camera pans to Marie Antoinette necklace on the floor. Int. Stardust Club, Frankie's office, night. We are back to Marilyn and Frankie. They continue to kiss. Marilyn then slowly parts her lips. Marilyn, we shouldn't be doing this. Frankie, I know, but it feels good. Frankie takes out the same Marie Antoinette diamond necklace from his pocket. Frankie, here. I got this for you. Before she says anything, he comes behind her, places the necklace around her neck. She turns around, throws her arms around his neck, and kisses him more adventurously. Int. Stardust Club, night. Back to Marilyn as she continues to sing Diamonds Are Forever. Note, all the incidents happen in different time zone. But we put them together in random shots. Plus, we are now in a different universe, multiverse. Things that have happened in the real world may and may not apply in here. Int. Museum, diamond necklace room, night. We're back to Charlie and Max. They continue to go at it. Max throws a punch. Charlie ducks and throws right hook, knocking Max's on the floor. Charlie grabs the necklace, puts it in his bag, and walks to Max where he lies at unconscious. Charlie takes out the mask from Max's face, sees the surprise of his life. They are clearly twins except Max is wearing an eye patch like a pirate. Out of nowhere appears a gun on Max's hand. Max holds the gun on Charles's face. Charlie brings his hands up, surrendering. They both slowly get up. Charlie takes a step back. On the soundtrack, Marilyn's diamonds are forever play softly. Max, give me the necklace. Charlie takes out the necklace from his bag. They both hear footsteps from a distance. Charlie, catch. Charlie throws the Marie Antoinette diamond necklace up in the air. As Max looks up, Charlie drops his bag and punches him on the jaw, lighting fast, knocking Max against the table. Max falls unconscious. Charlie catches the necklace before it lands on the floor with style. He places the necklace in the bag, takes Max's gun, put it in his belt, and walks away, leaving Max on top of the screen. Two guards, Alex and Roger, run to the scene. Max shakes off his pain, takes out a counterfeit badge, and gets up, as they approach him. Max, FBI. The suspect gets away. Go get him. The guards quickly sprint at the direction that Max shows them. Max looks at them, puts his badge on his pocket, takes out a cigarette, lights it, has a drag, and exhales the smoke at the screen as he walks away. Int. Stardust Club, Frankie's office, night. Frankie and Marilyn continue to make out with kisses. Then, we hear a buzz at the door. Frankie parts his lips from Marilyn. Frankie, you have to leave now. He holds her arm. Marilyn, what are you talking about? Frankie, just hide in the closet. Marilyn, I am not hiding in the closet. I don't like dark places. Frankie, if she sees us together, she'll kill us. Marilyn, softly let her kill me. I'm in love with you. I am not afraid of dying. She kisses him. They kiss. Meanwhile, we hear more buzzes. Frankie, come on. He takes her to the window. Frankie, wait outside. They kiss. EXT Stardust Club, Frankie's office, porch, night. Marilyn exits through the window and stands on the edge of this under construction porch and fire escape. Int. Stardust Club, Frankie's office, night. Frankie presses a button. The door opens revealing a provocative woman, femme fatale, Alicia Vincent, 28. She looks exactly like Alicia Vikander. She approaches Frankie who is standing at his desk. She pulls the agent of his coat, kisses him seductively without saying a word. Simultaneously, her two bloodthirsty bodyguards, Andrew, 36, and Ian, 29, stand by the door in the background. Close up, Alicia and Frankie. They kiss more. Alicia then parts her lips. Alicia, weren't you supposed to join me at dinner? Frankie, sorry. Something very important came up. I had to talk to. Alicia kisses him in the middle of his sentence. She reaches into his pocket, and takes out a red underwear. Alicia, holding the underwear, what's this? Frankie, it's not what you think. There is a pause. He has nothing to say. She walks aside. Frankie sits on the edge of his desk. Alicia comes to Andrew, takes his pistol from his belt, and turns to Frankie. Alicia, didn't I tell you to fire that bitch? Frankie takes out a cigarette and places it on his mouth but doesn't have a lighter. Alicia gives Andrew a sign to light Frankie's cigarette. Andrew comes to Frankie, lights the cigarette, and steps aside. Alicia, so, what you have to say for yourself? Frankie takes a drag and exhales out the smoke. Frankie, I thought I might give her a second chance. You know, she's the best thing has ever happened to this club since you walked into my life. She gives him a smirk. Alicia, you broke my heart. She shoots him in the heart bow. He falls and dies on the spot. Pan to, Marilyn. At the window, she screams like a little girl but quickly covers her mouth. Alicia sees Marilyn with the necklace. She fires the gun at her bow. 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 Marilyn quickly takes a cover by the window. EXT/int. Stardust Club, Frankie's office, night. Ian runs to the window, takes his head out of the window, looks round, but Marilyn is nowhere to be seen. Ian, to himself, where the fuck did she go? He goes out of the window. Int. Stardust Club, Frankie's office, night. Close up, Alicia. Alicia looks at Frankie for a bit. She then. Alicia, he looks more handsome dead than alive, doesn't he? Andrew gives her a nod, right. Alicia turns, gives Andrew his gun back, looks at him straight through his eyes. Alicia, kill that bitch and bring me the necklace. Andrew nods, okay. As he is about to exit through the window. Alicia, I want her heart without a pulse. Andrew nods and exits through the window, leaving Alicia on the foreground of the screen. Extreme close-up, Alicia. Alicia, looking at Frankie, too bad. I should have shot you in the dick. You would still be alive without your ball. Men like you bring the best in me. EXT Stardust Club, office, porch, night. Close up, Marilyn. Somehow, we find Marilyn, under the porch, by the fire escape, holding on a bar about 20 feet from the ground. Pan to, Andrew and Ian. Andrew is standing in the porch. Ian steps down from the ladder that leads to the roof, and joins Andrew. Andrew, did you find her? Ian, no. Andrew, where did she go? Ian, she must have escaped through that window. Referring to the next possible escape, a window that leads to the hallway then to the main club. She could be somewhere inside. Marilyn continues to hold on the bar as we see Andrew carefully climbing the next window. Andrew cautiously enters into the club through the second window. Ian follows him. Int. Stardust Club, Frankie's office, night. Alicia takes out a cigarette, lights the cigarette, and smoke. Derek, bodyguard 3, walks in, and looks at Frankie. Alicia, get rid of the body. He nods sure. EXT Stardust Club, Frankie office, night. Close up, Marilyn. She can't hold on the bar any longer. She looks down, realizes if she lets the bar go, she will have to join Frankie in death. But she is left with no choice. Marilyn closes her eyes and lets the bar go. Simultaneously, right down by the wall, a Mitsubishi pickup truck, with full of toys, comes out of the storage room. Toys for Kids, catches Marilyn like an angel. Int. Truck, night. We see two odd-looking men, Gary and Walker, in their mid-30s. Gary is behind the wheel. Walker is in the passenger seat. Gary, did you hear that? Walker, hear what? Gary, I heard a girl screaming. Walker, it could be UFO. Just keep driving. We have a long way to go. EXT truck, moving, night. Marilyn opens her eyes. She can't believe she's still alive. She smiles in beauty. The truck makes a left turn, and carries on driving toward the direction of the camera. Int. Stardust Club, Frankie's office, night. Alicia, smoking cigarette, watches Derek, bodyguard 3, as he dispenses Frankie's body on a black plastic bag. Andrew and Ian walk in. Andrew, to Alicia, we lost her. Alicia, don't worry. I know a hotshot who can find her. She takes a drag from her cigarette, and breathes out the smoke on the screen. EXT truck, moving, night. Marilyn looks around the toys that saved her life. Then she sees a small cute dog, Bichon Frise, right next to her. The dog barks. Marilyn, come on you cute thing. She grabs it. The dog licks her face. She smiles sweetly and kisses it. Fade to, black. Credite sequence. My beautiful Marilyn. Fade in. EXT street, early morning. Blue-orange gold skies. Marilyn stands in the middle of nowhere, waiting for a ride with her dog. On the soundtrack, Love by Nat King Cole plays melodiously. Then, a 1942 red Chevrolet Corvette convertible comes driving, and pulls next to Marilyn. Charlie is behind the wheel. Marilyn walks to the car and looks at Charlie as if she knew him. Marilyn, Max. Charlie, no, I am Charlie. Marilyn, I'm sorry. I thought you were someone else. Charlie, it's okay. I get that a lot. Where are you heading? Marilyn, as far as you are willing to take me. He opens the door for her. Charlie, hop in. Marilyn gets in and closes the door. They drive away. EXT/int. Car convertible, moving, morning. Charlie drives silently. Marilyn looks kind of tired, holding her puppy on her lap. She wants to take a nap but couldn't go to sleep, thinking about everything that happened overnight. Charlie glances at her and catches her eyes. Charlie, you seem sad. Marilyn, I'm miserable. Charlie, what's your name? Marilyn, Marilyn. Charlie, that is a beautiful name. Marilyn, thanks. There is a pause. He then. Charlie, you want to share your story? Marilyn, not really. Charlie, how come? Marilyn, my life is a fairy tale. It'll take forever to start and finish it. Charlie, it's okay. We got a long way to go. Marilyn, I don't think you would find it touching. Charlie, let me hear it. She gives him a soft smile. Marilyn, I'll tell you later. I'm kind of tired now. They get silent. Charlie then turns his eyes and looks at her. She is sleeping. He smiles at her softly, turns his eyes, and focuses on the road. A medium shot of the convertible with Charlie and Marilyn as it drives toward the direction of the camera. Int. Max's apartment, bedroom, day. Wearing his eye patch, Max sleeps with three beautiful nude girls, Maria, Sarah, and Tatiana, in their early 20s. He opens his unpatched eye, slowly gets up, walks to his chair, grabs his pant, and puts it on. Note. Max always wears an eye patch. Max grabs his shoes from the floor, sits on the edge of the bed, and begins to put on his shoes. Tatiana opens her eyes and looks at him as he continues to put his shoes. Max turns around and catches her eyes. Tatiana, softly Max. Max kisses her on the lips. He gives her a soft kiss. Max, good morning, darling. Tatiana, where you're going? Max, I have to go to work. Tatiana, do you have to go now? They exchange soft kisses. Max, I'll see you at the club. Tatiana, are you coming tonight? Max, softly down by her lips, yes, I am. He kisses her. She wraps her arms around him. They kiss more seductively. Int. Rio Coffee Shop, day. Charlie and Marilyn sit at a table with two coffees, croissant, and blueberry muffin, gazing at each other's eyes. He then. Charlie, what do you do? Marilyn, I'm a singer. Charlie, what make you want to be a singer? Marilyn, what do you mean? Charlie, it's a pointless question, isn't it? Marilyn, what do you have in mind? Charlie, I'm just curious how a gorgeous girl like you decided to be a singer in the first place. Marilyn, instinct. A waitress named Jessica, 26, comes by with a pot of coffee. Jessica, Can I get anybody any more coffee? Marilyn, if you don't mind. Jessica pours Marilyn's coffee. Jessica, what about you? Charlie, please. Jessica fills Charlie's coffee. Jessica, enjoy your coffees. Charlie, thanks. The waitress walks away. Charlie takes a sip from his coffee. Marilyn has a bite from her blueberry muffin. Charlie, what kind of music do you listen to? Marilyn, I like rhythm and blues, jazz, calypso. I listen to just about everything except opera. Charlie, why opera? Some people find opera to be entertaining. Marilyn, do you? Charlie, humorously, I haven't heard a lot of opera. But they said it has the power to transcend emotion. Marilyn, that's something. But who said that, transcending emotion? Charlie, I did. Marilyn, where did they teach you to lie like that? Charlie, what do you mean? Marilyn, I know all music can be compelling, but any cute guy who says that he likes opera must be lying to hell. He smiles softly. Charlie, no, I'm not lying. It's like listening to the birds in the middle of the night, it brings back this blue seductive feeling from the depth of your subconscious mind when you expected the least. She smiles in beauty and looks at his eyes with seduction. Marilyn, if you say so. Yet, I still think it's a little bit boring. But don't feel bad, they said, opposite attract. Charlie gives her a soft smile while gazing at her eyes. He can't help but be mesmerized by her sense of beauty, glamour, and style. There is a silent moment. He then. Charlie, how old are you? Marilyn, 25. There is a pause. Charlie, you have very beautiful irises. Marilyn, thanks. But I don't really have to work for them. I was born with them. She gives him an inviting smile. He says nothing as he gazes at her eyes in wonder. Int. Private Detective Max's office, day. We're inside Max's office. It's semi-dark. Max opens the door from outside. We see an unidentified person sitting on top of Max's desk. He comes to the window, opens the curtain. The light reveals the person. It's Alicia. Max walks straight to the bar without saying a word, takes 2 glasses from the bar, grabs a whiskey, and pours the whiskey in the glasses. Alicia takes out a cigarette, lights the cigarette, and begins to smoke. Max comes up to Alicia and hands her one of the whiskeys. She takes the whiskey. Alicia, surprised to see me? Max, no, I was kind of expecting you for some unknown reason. He puts the scotch on the table and places his hand between her thighs. Max, I knew soon or later that you would find a reason to torture my heart. She takes a sip, puts her scotch on the table, places the cigarette inside the scotch, and wraps her legs around his waist. Alicia, close by his lips, tell me you got a better story than that. Max, only if you know how to translate kiss into French, I might tell you the story of my life. It's better than a fairy tale. They kiss with tongues. She then parts her lips. Alicia, let's have sex. I must have orgasm. Or I will die. They kiss more intimately. Int. Charlie's convertible, moving, day. Marilyn and Charlie drives in the middle of nowhere. Marilyn, what do you do? Charlie, I'm a pianist. Marilyn, why didn't you tell me that before? Charlie, you didn't ask. Marilyn, I told you that I was a singer. You could have just told me then. Charlie, I could have. There is a pause. She then. Marilyn, where do you play? Charlie, I used to play in Memphis, Tennessee. I then moved to New Orleans and played there for a while. But now I'm going back to Los Angeles where I am from. Marilyn, is it for business or pleasure? Charlie, I have to see a friend. Marilyn, girlfriend. Charlie, ex. She gives him a curious look. Marilyn, that means you are going for business? Charlie, humorously, you never know. One thing lead to another. Business becomes pleasure. You then lose a sense of reality. Marilyn, I didn't know you were a player. He smiles at her softly. EXT Charlie's convertible, moving, day. An established shot of Charlie's car driving with Marilyn and Charlie. EXT Alicia's villa, jacuzzi, evening, sunset. It's a luxurious house. Alicia and Max sit in a jacuzzi without wearing a single drop of clothes while drinking glasses of whiskeys. Alicia, I'm the kind of girl who sees something that she wants, and just takes it without quorum. But it's unfortunate, because of that little slat I had to kill him. Max, love hurts. Alicia, tell me about it. She takes a sip, places the drink aside, and approaches him. They kiss. Alicia, I want you to find that bitch, bring the necklace. Gives him a juicy kiss. And make sure you kill her for me. Max, I never killed a dame in my life. But I'll. Before he finishes his sentence, she kisses him. They kiss French. EXT Charlie's convertible, moving, Los Angeles, night. Charlie's car moves in the street of Los Angeles City. EXT/int. Charlie's convertible, moving, night. Marilyn sleeps on Charlie's shoulder. Charlie looks at her eyes, and shows us the softest part of his heart on his face. It seems he might be in love. Marilyn then opens her eyes. She quickly gets up, gives him a soft smile, and looks around the city. Marilyn, it's good to be back. Charlie smiles softly. The car drives at the direction of the camera. Int. Rose Garden, night. A classic jazzy club. On the stage, three provocative girls in their early 20s, Tina, Raquel, and Sydney sing Lady Marmalade, kicking their legs, dancing exotic. Steve Jordan, 29, plays piano. Down by the stage, elites, creams of the crops, gorgeous girls, and stylish gangsters, sitting at the tables, watch the show with cigarettes, and all kinds of drinks. Int. Rose Garden, Queen Bee's dressing room, night. An attractive woman named Samantha James aka Queen Bee, 36, the owner of the club, sits at the mirror, applying makeup on her eyes. She puts down the makeup on the table, grabs her cigarette from the ashtray, takes a drag, breathes out the smoke, puts it back, and grabs a lipstick. Queen Bee, talking to herself in the mirror, give me a reason to believe you are one in a million. A reason to come miles to mile. To see your alluring smile. A reason to eclipse my pain. To give you my heart once again. Give me a reason to believe the skies in the night are blue. A reason to be covered with fever and dew. The beautiful heat of my lips. A kiss to say, I love you. She paints her lips red. Int. Rose Garden, night. We are back to the girls, Tina, Raquel, and Sydney, as they continue to sing Lady Marmalade while dancing like seduction gone wild. Int. Rose Garden, Queen Bee dressing room / backstage, night. Close up. Queen Bee gets up from her seat, steps out from the dressing room, and continues to walk at the direction of the camera at the backstage, greeting people that she knows dearly. Then comes a young man named Little Kansas at the backstage. Little Kansas, hi, Bee. Queen Bee, walking, what is it, Little? Little Kansas, I talked to Alfred about the whiskeys. He said he'd be glad to do business with us, but before anything. Guess who comes home? Queen Bee, who? Little Kansas, Charlie. She stops, and turns toward Little Kansas. Queen Bee, surprised, where's he? Little Kansas, I don't know. He could be anywhere. He just told me to leave this gorgeous girl named Marilyn at Uncle Bobby coffee shop and went to drive around the corner. Queen Bee, don't go anywhere. I have to talk to you. Queen Bee moves toward the stage. Int. Rose Garden Club, stage, night. Queen Bee walks in. The audiences clap. She sees Charlie behind the piano in the place of Steve Jordan. Queen Bee beams with a dazzling smile. Charlie returns her smile, strokes few melodious notes that can easily be interpreted as I love you. Queen Bee blows him a kiss, comes up to the center stage, and takes the microphone. Queen Bee, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad. At last my love has come along. My lonely days are over, you know what I am talking about. Play it, Charlie. Charlie plays the piano. Queen Bee, singing Etta James's At Last. At last my love has come along. My lonely days are over. And life is like a song. She walks to Charlie as he plays the piano. Queen Bee, oh yeah yeah. At last the skies above are blue. My heart is wrapped up in clover. The night I looked at you. Charlie continues to play the piano. They look at each other and exchange two soft smiles. Int. Uncle Bobby coffee shop, card room, night. Marilyn, sitting at a table, plays poker with Uncle Bobby, 45, a big-time con artist, and three young racketeers, Seth, 27, Luke, 26, and Sean, 29. Sean, there were three guys walking in the middle of the desert. They then saw an angel falling from the sky and stopped. The first one said, guys, let's go strip her feather, see what she looks like naked. The second one said, don't be silly, Sonny. Let's just dust her feather, and drink wine from her sweet lips. They both look at the third guy. Looking at Marilyn. He said, before we do anything, let me go ask her to return my heart first. I have danced with Snow White and fallen in love at sight. I have kissed Sleeping Beauty and changed the astrological order of the planets and the constellation of stars at night. I have fought alongside Spartans and Achilles, and stole Helen of Troy from Paris. I have courted Cleopatra in the Garden of Butterflies and Eris, romanced Lillian Gish in a boat and kiss her lips in terrace. I have danced with Greta Garbo and make love to her with various sexual positions better than Frank Harris. Nonetheless, the gods have told me not to fall in love head over heels with every angel that fell from heavens ever since I was 13. But now I know where my heart and soul have always been. She is the most beautiful girl that I've ever seen. Marilyn smiles softly. Nonetheless, she fixes her cards, 4 aces, melts down the cards, and wins the hand. Uncle Bobby, not again. Luke, she is killing us. She collects the money on the table. Int. Rose Garden, night. Queen Bee and Charlie sit at a table with 2 glasses of scotches, having laid back conversation. On the stage, a woman named Katharina, 30, performs Just the Way You Are, jazz, with Steve Jordan behind the piano. Close up, Queen Bee and Charlie. Queen Bee, don't you want to live? Charlie, I have to see her, Bee. I think of her eyes, I go wild, I get lost in the deepest part of my heart and find no reason to doubt, or question if God made her for me. And when love seems deadly, let them call her coquette, let them call her femme fatale, let them call her gaudy. But she'll always be the soul that the Lord placed in my heart, and the force behind my heartbeat without vanity. She smiles softly. There is pause. She then. Queen Bee, is she worth it? Charlie, softly, every beat of my heart. She looks at him with tenderness. Queen Bee, why you have to be like this, Charlie? It's not fair. Charlie, I know, but there is nothing I can do about it. There is a pause. She then. Queen Bee, whom did you bring with you? Little Kansa was saying something about a gorgeous girl. Charlie, an angel, someone left her in the middle of the road. Queen Bee, what's her name? Charlie, Marilyn Monroe. There is a pause. Queen Bee looks at his eyes. She then. Queen Bee, what's she doing with you? Charlie, nothing, she just needs a place to stay and a job first day in the morning. I thought you could help her. She smiles softly at him. Queen Bee, sure. I would do anything for you. Charlie, thanks. It means a lot to me. He gives her a soft charismatic smile. There is a silent moment. They listen to the music silently. She then. Queen Bee, what about you, how is life treating you? Charlie, under his breath I am okay. There is a pause. He seems lost in thought. She reads his thoughts. Queen Bee, don't worry, Charlie. If they want war, we are ready. But you have to stay away from that girl. She's bad news. Charlie, thanks for everything, Bee. But I don't want to involve you. I just want to see her eyes for the last time, and move on with my life. Int. Uncle Bobby coffee shop, card room, night. Marilyn, who is sitting between Sean and Seth, continues to play poker. Little Kansas has joined the game. He looks at his card. Little Kansas, I'm out. He throws his card on the table. Luke, I'm out too. Luke throws his card on the table. Uncle Bobby, I'm out. He throws his card on the table. They look at Seth, who is thinking he's in or out. Seth, I'm out. He throws the card on the table. Then. They all stare at Marilyn. Marilyn, to Sean who is the only person is in I match your $400 and raise you 200. Sean, are you sure, Marilyn? I don't want to take all your money. Marilyn, go ahead. Make my night. Sean, okay. Here I double your bet. He puts his bet. Sean, 2 kings, 4 of a kind. Puts his card. What you got there? Marilyn, straight. She puts down 8, 10 diamonds next to 9, 7, 6, diamond, K heart, K club. Seth, she got you. She collects all the money. Little Kansas, I guess this means time to go. Uncle Bobby, to Little Kansas, where did you find this girl? She straight robbed us like Aphrodite in Mardi Gras. Marilyn smiles softly. She puts all her winning on her purse. Little Kansas, to Marilyn, you want to go now? Marilyn, okay. Marilyn gets up from her chair. Sean, looking at Marilyn, to Little Kansas, why don't you leave this beautiful gal with me, and go get us 2 glasses of Portuguese grape juice? I am thirsty. She is thirsty. Thirsty people usually drink. Or they will turn the world upside down. She smiles softly, and kisses Sean on the cheek. Marilyn, I'm tired. I have to go. Int. Chateau Marmont Hotel, front lobby, night. It's a fancy 5 stars hotel. We see a man, who looks like young Jerry Lewis, Albert McKee, 35, standing behind the counter at the front desk. Marilyn enters. She walks down the lobby and come up to the front desk. Albert looks at her. Albert, how can I help you? Marilyn, I need a room. Albert, we have nothing available for tonight, but let me check. Nothing is certain. He checks the file. Albert, I'm sorry, madam. No room is available, unless if you have penthouse in mind. Marilyn, that is fine. He opens the file and looks at it. Albert, $100 a night. Marilyn, I'll take it for 3 weeks. She opens her purse, takes out unknown sum of unorganized money that she made from gambling, and places it in front of Albert. Albert looks at her as if he were saying, what is this? In the meantime, she takes out the Marie Antoinette diamond necklace, so Albert can see it. His eyes got wider. Marilyn puts it back in her purse craftily. She pulls out more crumpled money, and places it on the desk. Albert picks up the money, straightens them up, and begins to count the money while thinking about the diamond in his head. Cut to Albert as he finishes counting the money. Albert, it's short, miss. Your name? Marilyn, Marilyn Monroe. Albert, Miss Monroe, unless if we can work magic here, it seems we are having a moment. They look at each other's eyes as if they read each other's minds. She then takes out the diamond from her purse and puts it in front of him, on the counter. Marilyn, where do I sign? Albert picks up the diamond and looks at it. He then gives her a pen. Albert, you can sign here. Marilyn takes the pen, and puts her name and signature on the signing book. On the soundtrack, Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong plays melodiously. Int. Penthouse, night. Marilyn opens the door from the outside and enters with her bichon frise. She puts the dog on the floor and walks around the room in leisure. Her heart is filled with delight. EXT penthouse porch, night. Marilyn steps outside, walks to the light frame wall, looks at the starry sky, bright moon, and the sparkling stars. She turns and walks back to the room, toward the direction of the camera. Int. Penthouse, bathtub, night. Marilyn sits in the bathtub with her eyes closed surrounded by candles. Int. Phillips Cottage, Club, Night. Phillips Cottage is a splendid 5-star club, the equivalent of Cotton Club. It's owned by Jimmy Ice. On the stage, an attractive girl named Natalie, 27, the same girl that we saw at the beginning of the movie, sings Let's Fall in Love, jazz, with Isaac Carter behind the piano, William Bishop, saxophone, Billy Patmore and John Wallace, trumpeters, Reggie King, double bass and others, aka the Isaac Band. Down by the stage, elites, cream of the crops, gangsters and others sit at the tables with various drinks, watching Natalie. Then. Pan to, entrance. Charlie walks in. He looks at Natalie. Close up, Natalie. She sees him. Her eyes are filled with tears. Charlie comes to an open table, takes a seat, and begins to watch her. A waitress named Brittany, 23, comes to Charlie's table. Brittany, hi. Charlie, hi. Brittany, how can I serve you? Charlie, a glass of red wine. Brittany, that's all? He nods, yes, without taking his eyes off Natalie. Brittany walks away. Close up, Natalie. She continues to sing, gazing at Charlie's eyes. Then out of nowhere comes a charismatic man named Jimmy Filippo Conti aka Jimmy Ice, 37. He pulls a chair, sits next to Charlie, and begins to watch Natalie. Jimmy Ice, call it divine intervention or miracle. It never ceases to amaze me how a beautiful girl like her comes to this world in the first place and set our hearts on fire. We see two of Jimmy Ice's trusted bodyguards, George and Cooper, standing right down by the bar with glass of whiskeys. Close up, Natalie. She continues to sing. Jimmy turns his eyes, looks at Charlie. Charlie takes out an envelope that is filled with money from his chest pocket, and throws it on the table without taking his eyes off Natalie. Close up, Natalie. She continues to sing Let's Fall in Love. A medium shot of Charlie and Jimmy as they continue to watch Natalie. Then. Brittany comes to the table with Charlie's red wine on a tray. She places it in front of Charlie. Jimmy picks up the wine and puts it back on the tray. Jimmy Ice, bring him something strong. Scotch in the house. Brittany nods, okay, and walks away. Charlie doesn't say anything. He continues to watch Natalie silently. Close up, Natalie. She finishes singing with a gorgeous voice. The audiences clap. Jimmy picks up the envelope, gets up from his seat, and puts the money in his chest pocket. Jimmy Ice, come to the office. I have to talk to you. Jimmy gives his bodyguards be cool sign, turns around, and heads toward the staircase, to his private office. Natalie comes to Charlie, sits in front of him, and says nothing. On the background, Isaac Band plays beautiful and scrumptious jazz. Natalie takes out a cigarette, places it in her lips. Charlie takes out a matchbox from his pocket, lights her cigarette, and puts out the fire. Natalie takes a drag and breathes out the smoke at his face with style. Natalie then slaps him across his face, on the left cheek as painful as she might have felt. He doesn't react as if he knew that was coming. Charlie looks at her eyes for about 4 seconds, snaps the table removing the only barrier between him and her. She gets up from her seat. Charlie grabs her, and kisses her passionately. Simultaneously, she tries to resist till she can't help but give herself to him completely. They kiss passionately. The place got silent. She then pushes him, breaks the kiss. George, Cooper, and bodyguard number 3 Lima come to the scene. Natalie, stop right there, guys. It's none of your business. To Charlie, I want you to leave now. Cooper takes a step forward. Natalie, to Cooper and the rest of the bodyguards, stay the fuck away from this. I'll handle it. Just tell everyone to get back to their seats, or leave the club immediately. Cooper nods, sure. Cooper, to the people who are standing with confusion, you heard the princess. Get back to your seat, or leave the club. Cooper and George begin to enforce the issue, making sure that customers are acting accordingly as Liam fixes the table. Natalie gazes at Charlie's eyes. Natalie, what do you want? Charlie, is that supposed to be a trick question? Natalie, why don't you tell me? Charlie, walking to the stage, where do you want me to start? Charlie comes to the stage, gives Isaac a tap on the shoulder to leave the piano for him. Isaac understands, sure, gets up from the piano, and stands aside. Charlie gets behind the piano. Natalie gives Cooper and George a sign not to interfere as Lima pulls a chair for her. She takes a seat. Charlie begins to play the piano, singing Elvis Presley's Love Me Tender. Charlie, singing Love Me Tender. Love me sweet. Never let me go. You have made my life complete. And I love you so. Love me tender. Love me true. All my dreams fulfilled. For my darling I love you. And I always will. Love me tender. Love me long. Take me to your heart. For it's there that I belong. And we'll never part. Love me tender. Love me true. All my dreams fulfill for my darling. I love you and I always will. Love me tender. Love me dear. Tell me you are mine. I'll be yours through all the years. Till the end of time. Love me tender, love me true. All my dreams fulfill for my darling, I love you. And I always will. He then plays solo piano. A tear escapes from Natalie's eye and falls by her cheek. She wipes it off with her hand. Charlie continues to play the piano solo. He then strokes 3 melodious notes and finishes singing. The audiences give him a round of applause. Charlie gets up, walks up to Natalie, and sits at the table. He looks at her eyes. She gazes at his eyes. He gives her his hand. She takes it. He kisses her hand softly. Charlie, I missed you. Natalie, I missed you too. But please, Charlie. Leave now before anything happens to you. She gets up, takes her hand, and walks toward her dressing room. Charlie looks at her with yearning as she leaves toward the backstage and disappears from his sight. Then, George and Cooper approach Charlie behind. Cooper, Mr. Conti wants to have few words with you. Charlie nods his head sure, gets up, and walks toward Jimmy Ice's private office, escorted by George and Cooper. Int. Phillips Cottage Club, Jimmy Ice office, night. It is a luxurious office. Jimmy sits on his sofa with his feet on a table, without shoes. Yardbird sweet play from a record player. Then the phone lights green. He takes his feet down, picks up the phone. Jimmy Ice, wait a second. He hangs up the phone, puts his shoes on, and presses a button. The door buzzes. Charlie opens the door and steps in ease. Jimmy walks up to the bar, opens a bottle of scotch, and pours the liquor in a glass, just for himself. Jimmy Ice, referring to the music, do you know who this is? Charlie, Charles Parker. Jimmy Ice, Blue Hurricane. The only wild bird with multiple souls that the fire in hell can't quench. Charlie, that is true. But what man needs another soul or a bird 9 lives when they play with fire? Jimmy Ice, no one can deny that, except there are 2 kinds of birds, those who are flying wild in the sky and those who are kept in the cage with 9 lives. But watch out, the devil that is calling your number. Everybody thinks you are exceptional. Charlie, I know you didn't bring me here to tell me about Bluebird and Nightingale. Let's escape the fairy tales and get down to the point. There is a pause. Jimmy Ice, do you have a death wish, Charlie? Charlie, not really. Unless death has a wish for me, I'm always in favor of life. Jimmy Ice, that is great. We're on the same page. I believe life is more precious than anything, even if we have no choice but to live in pain and die in vain. Jimmy takes a shot and puts down his drink on the bar. Jimmy Ice, coolly, walking toward Charlie, you know, even though you double-crossed me, taking that stupid dive in the 6 rounds, you're still a brother that I never had, Charlie. I have no aversion toward you. Jimmy Ice looks at Charlie straight through his eyes. Jimmy Ice, but if you ever come near her again, I swear I will carve your heart out myself and feed it to the hogs. Out of nowhere Jimmy takes out a small knife, and stabs Charlie on the left lower side of his abdomen. Blood appears on his shirt. Jimmy Ice, you can leave now. Good to see you again. Charlie holds his belly without making a sound, or showing the slightest bit of pain. He turns around, walks to the door, opens the door, and then falls at the exit. Close up, Charlie. He looks at the roof. Charlie's POV. Everything spins around. He then closes his eyes. Int. Hotel, Marilyn's penthouse, morning. Charlie sleeps on a luxurious comfortable bed at Marilyn's penthouse. He opens his eyes, looks around, asking himself, where am I? He lifts his blanket, sees that he's completely naked without a single drop of clothes except a medical adhesive bandage and underwear. He covers himself back, and looks around. Charlie slowly gets up and sits in the middle of the bed with his back resting against the board. Marilyn comes with breakfast, pancakes and orange juice on a tray. Marilyn, hi. Charlie, hi. Marilyn, breakfast. She places the tray on the bed next to him and grabs the orange juice. Marilyn, here. She gives him the orange juice. He takes it. Charlie, where am I? Marilyn, you're in my penthouse. There is a pause. Charlie, how did I get here? Marilyn, little Kansas brought you last night. You were unconscious. He said some gangster named Jimmy I stabbed you in the abdomen and threw you on the street. Drink your orange juice. You lost a lot of blood. Charlie takes a sip. Marilyn cuts the pancake in small pieces with a sliver knife, looks at his eyes with tenderness, picks a piece of pancake with her hand, brings it to his mouth, and feeds him. Charlie eats from her hand, looks at her eyes, brings his eyes down, checks his wound again, and leans back with a burning sensation. Marilyn, you okay? Charlie, softly, I got headache. Marilyn, this might reduce the pain till I get a medicine. She gets closer and kisses him on the cheek. He looks at her eyes tenderly. She gazes at his eyes. Marilyn kisses him on the lips. He kisses her. They kiss more intimately. She then parts her lips. Marilyn, I shouldn't do this. I'm sorry. She gets up, and walks away. He touches his lips as if he were saying, what sweet lips. Int. Alicia's villa house, swimming pool, morning. Close up, a cat. A cat sits on a chair next to a swimming pool at Alicia's exclusive villa house. Close up, Alicia. She is swimming in her $1 million swimming pool. She then comes up to the ladder and begins to get out of the swimming pool. We see one of her bodyguard, Kurt, 29, standing by the swimming pool. Then, 2 detectives, Colton Scott, 39, and Richard Morris, 35, come to the swimming pool, escorted by Andrew. Kurt hands Alicia a towel. Alicia takes the towel, walks to a table, and gives Andrew a wink to leave her alone. Andrew nods sure and walks away as she dries herself. Alicia takes out her swimming hat, gives Kurt the hat, and the towel, and tells him to leave her alone as well, with a nod. Kurt leaves soundlessly. Alicia picks her cat and looks at Colton, who is the lead detective on the case. Alicia sits at the table. What's it? Detective Scott, I'm Detective Scott and this is my partner Detective Morris. Detective Morris, how do you do? He gives her his hand to shake. She ignores him. Alicia, have a seat. They sit at the table. A housekeeper named Sophia, 33, comes with breakfast, coffee and muffins. Sophia puts the meal on the table and walks away. Alicia, coffee. Detective Scott, no thanks. Alicia, what about muffins? Detective Scott, we're fine. We just had breakfast. Joking. We are not used to these kinds of muffins. I meant, there are some sick people that don't hesitate to poison us. Alicia, okay. You can continue. Detective Scott, we came to ask you a few questions, regarding to the death of your ex-husband Franklin Salvino. Detective Morris, we found his body in the Hoover Dam last night. We thought you might help us by answering a couple of questions. Alicia, do I have to? Detective Scott, just cooperation. Alicia, teasing them. Why should I cooperate? Detective Morris, first, he is your husband. You have been married for 3 years. Second, we got reports he was last seen with you at his office. And third, we are told that he made reservation for 2 people at the Hyatt restaurant. Your name was on the guest list. Alicia, I have no idea what you're talking about. Alicia gives them a sexual smirk. Her smirk puts a pause in their face, back and forth. Colton then. Detective Scott, Mr. Stone, we don't want to take you to the station and sweat your butt at a 100-degree room. It's not fun. We just want you to work with us, is all. She takes out a cigarette from her cigarette box, looks at Colton straight through his eyes with seduction, and places the cigarette on her lips. He takes out his lighter from his pocket and lights her cigarette. She takes a drag and breathes the smoke by his face. Alicia, what if I told you that I was home in my bathtub that night touching myself, would you still want to take me to the station and sweat my butt, or fuck me in the ass here in my house, Detective Scott? They get silent. She crashes her cigarette on the ashtray. Alicia, I don't know anything about his death. Will you excuse me? I have to be somewhere. She gets up with her cat and walks toward the direction of the camera. Int. Uncle Bobby Coffee Shop, Day. We see a healthy number of customers sitting at the tables and enjoying their breakfast. Marilyn, holding cookies and coffee on a tray, walks toward Charlie, who is sitting at a table alone. Close up, Marilyn. She comes up to Charlie's table, places the cookies and the coffee on the table, and sits in front of Charlie. She pushes the cookies closer to him. Marilyn, have some. Charlie, thanks. But no thanks. I don't want to eat anything. Marilyn, just take one. I made them myself. Charlie grabs one and takes a bite. Charlie, it's delicious. Marilyn, coffee. Charlie, I'm okay. Marilyn, suit yourself. He smiles softly at her. There is a pause. She then. Marilyn, I'm sorry I kissed you the other day. I shouldn't have done that. I felt embarrassed. Charlie, it is okay. You got one of the sweetest lips I've ever kissed. Marilyn, thanks. You're a very good kisser yourself. Charlie, I didn't really kiss you the way I wanted to. You know? There is a pause. Marilyn, what is it? Charlie, humorously, let's just say I would have melted your liver, take your breath away from your lungs, turned your soul into a rose, and woven crown of thorns around your heart if you had given me few more seconds. She smiles softly. Marilyn, that would have been something. I love roses. But I didn't want to rush things. She gives him a wink. He smiles softly. There is a silent moment. They gaze at each other's eyes quietly. He then. Charlie, anyway, Queen Bee said, you can start tonight. Marilyn, start what? Charlie, she wants you to rehearse with Steve. Just go there and wait for me. I have to take care of something. Marilyn, what's it? Charlie, I have to go to the bank and withdraw some money. There is a pause. She looks at him. What? Charlie, a couple of cashes. You know, to buy grocery. Marilyn, I get it. Humorously. You're a thief. Charlie, how can you tell? Marilyn, joking, I know when I see one. The second I laid my eyes on you. Something told me you were nothing but a thief who steals a girl's heart and runs away with it. He smiles softly. Charlie, are you going to be okay? Marilyn, what do you mean? Charlie, the gangsters. Won't they come after you? Marilyn, I don't care. I love music more than anything. If they want to come and kill me, let them do so. They have my blessing. I would rather die doing something I like than live in fear. Charlie, if you put it down like that, it's going to be up to you. But I'll make sure nobody hurts you. She gives him a beautiful smile. Marilyn, thanks. But I can take care of myself. Teasingly, I am a grown woman. He smiles softly. Int. Rio Coffee House, Day. Max sits at a table with a cup of coffee, looks at a small diamond engagement ring in a tiny box, puts it in his pocket, and checks his watch. It's 10 a.m. in the morning. Jessica, the waitress, comes by the table with a pot of coffee. Jessica, can I get you more coffee? He looks at her eyes in seduction. Max, I doubt it if it's going to be addictive as you. But since you insist, why not? She smiles softly and pours the coffee in his cup. Max reads her name on her chest. Max, that's your name, Jessica. Jessica, something like that. Max, Jessica is a name from the Hebrew Yiskah, the Lord's gift. Jessica, I didn't know that. But thanks for the translation of my name. Max, can I ask you a question? He gives her a wink to sit. She sits in front of him. Jessica, what's it, Playboy? Max takes out a picture of Marilyn Monroe from his chest pocket. Max, have you seen this girl by any chance? He gives Jessica the photo. She takes the photo and looks at it. Int. Underground, interrogation and torturing room, day. The place is semi-dark except there is a lamp in the middle of the roof like some kind of CIA interrogation room. We see Albert McKee, whom we saw talking to Marilyn at the hotel. His mouth is covered with duct tape and his hands tied up with ropes against the chair. George and Cooper stand next to him with baseball bat and baseball. Out of the dark, Jimmy Ice comes to the screen. He takes a step forward and stands in the light with a cigarette. Jimmy Ice, to Albert, I don't believe in violent, Mr. McKee. I consider myself as a righteous man. I let people slide with mistakes and debits, because I know one day, the good Lord in heaven will pay me back for all the good deed I have done, and forgive me for sins I have committed. But you took it too far with 2 late payments. Takes out his coat, and puts it on the table. To Cooper, give me that bat. I'll fucking split his head open myself. Cooper gives Jimmy the bat. Jimmy takes the bat. Albert's eyes get wider. Albert tries to tell them something, pointing his index finger, but he can say a word since his mouth is sealed with duct tape. Cooper, boss, he wants to say last words about some necklace. Jimmy Ice, what fucking necklace? George, he was saying something about diamond necklace. George peels the duct tape from Albert's mouth. Albert takes a deep breath. Albert, I swear to God, Ice. I get a Marie Antoinette diamond necklace that's worth millions of dollars. I got it from this girl, who is staying at the hotel. Jimmy Ice, where's it? Albert, it's in my hidden pocket. Untie me. I'll give it to you. Jimmy gives a sign to Cooper to check his packet. Cooper takes out a knife, tears off Albert's jacket with the knife revealing a hidden pocket. Cooper reaches the pocket and pulls out our favorite Marie Antoinette diamond necklace, and gives Jimmy the necklace. Jimmy takes the necklace and looks at it. Jimmy Ice, it's lovely. Jimmy puts the necklace in his pocket, walks back about 6 feet away from Albert, and turns around. Jimmy Ice, to George, toss that fucking ball to me. George smiles sarcastically, walks to the other side, and tosses the ball to Jimmy Ice. Jimmy Ice swings the bat as hard as he can, and hits the ball at the direction of Albert. Albert's is POV. The ball comes straight and strikes the camera into Albert's face. The screen shatters into pieces. Int. Rose Garden, night. Close up, Sean. Sean is on the stage singing Fly Me to the Moon with Steve Jordan behind the piano and Blood and Chocolate Band with guitar, saxophone, double bass, and other music instrument. Sean, fly me to the moon. Let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like. On Jupiter and Mars. The place is packed with elites, gangsters, and attractive girls. In the meantime, we see all the gangs from the previous scene, Charlie, Little Kansas, Seth, and Luke sitting at a table with drinks and watching Sean as he continues to sing. Close up, Sean. Sean, singing in other words, hold my hand. In other words, baby kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for. All I worship and adore. Close up, Uncle Bobby and Queen Bee. They sit at the VIP with drinks. Uncle Bobby, why don't you marry me? Queen Bee, I would love to. But. There is a pause. Uncle Bobby, but what? Queen Bee, nothing. Uncle Bobby, what's stopping you? Queen Bee, Jimmy. Uncle Bobby, what about him? Queen Bee, the house is under his name. Charlie just paid him 50 grand few days ago. But I still owe him a lot of money. I have to come up with the rest of the money, or I have to sell this place for less, pay the debt, and move to Paris, which even I have to get okay from him. Uncle Bobby, that doesn't sound right. Queen Bee, that is life. You need permission from the devil to run your own business. Uncle Bobby, he has no right to interfere with your business. Queen Bee, there is nothing I can do about it, unless you have something in mind. There is a pause. Uncle Bobby looks at the boys and watches Sean on the stage singing. Uncle Bobby, Charlie and the boys don't seem too busy, except Sean. He sounds like Frank Sinatra. I'll think something. Close up, Sean. He continues to sing. Sean, fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for. All I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Sean finishes singing. The boys and the audiences give him a round of applauses. Little Kansas, that's how you do it, bad boy. Close up, Sean on the stage. Sean, thank you very much. Rose Garden, stage. Marilyn comes up to the stage, wearing a yellow translucent gown. This audio file was created by Panopreter Basic. You can download it at www.panopreter.com. She looks sensual. Charlie can't believe how beautiful she really is. He's taken by her appearance, sensuality, and sense of presence. Close up, Marilyn. She takes the mic, and begins to sing Can't Take My Eyes Off You. Marilyn, singing You're Just Too Good to Be True. Can't take my eyes off you. They all watch her with all their instincts, desires, and imaginations. She catches Charlie's eyes. He gives her a soft smile. In the meantime, Sean greets a couple of mobsters, who are enjoying the show, and comes to Charlie and the boys' table, and sits next to Charlie. Charlie continues to watch Marilyn. Close up, Marilyn. She continues to sing while dancing. Marilyn, singing Pardon the Way That I Stare. There's nothing else to compare. The sight of you leaves me weak. There are no words left to speak. But if you feel like I feel, please let me know that it's real. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off you. Close up, Uncle Bobby and Queen Bee. Uncle Bobby, she is a natural born star. Queen Bee, she has crush on Charlie. Uncle Bobby, he is ladies' man. Queen Bee, anyway, I knew that the moment I saw her, she would be something. Pan 2, Marilyn on the stage. She looks like a lemon rose that blossoms in the air. Marilyn, singing I love you, baby. And if it's quite alright, I need you, baby. To warm a lonely night. Pan 2, the boys at the table. They continue to watch her with amazement. Sean, referring to Marilyn, true love is nothing but a spell that crawls under your skin and preys on the flower in your belly like a wild butterfly. Nobody says anything while watching Marilyn with their 10 senses. Close up, Marilyn. She continues to sing. Marilyn, I love you, baby. Trust in me when I say. Oh, pretty baby. Don't bring me down, I pray. Oh, pretty baby, now that I found you, stay. She finishes singing. Everybody gets silent. The place is so quiet we can figuratively hear the stars whispering in her eyes. Then little Kansas claps his hands. Everybody claps with him. Marilyn's face beams in beauty. She gives Charlie a wink. Charlie returns her wink. Int. Ciro's, night. Ciro's is a nightclub in West Hollywood, California on the Sunset Strip. It's a famous hangout for movie stars of the 1940s. Charlie sits at a table with a glass of moonshine. Bad Boys, a jazz band, are performing with Edward Jones behind the piano, Raymond with guitar, Bruce with saxophone, Brad behind double bass. Jody Miller, 32, sings Summertime. Then Marilyn walks into the club wearing a red ravishing gown. She sees Charlie. Charlie looks at her as well and gets up from his chair. Marilyn comes to him. They cuddle and kiss on the cheeks, greeting. Marilyn, did I make you wait? Charlie, no, I was enjoying the music. Charlie pulls a chair for her. Marilyn, I am sorry. I had to take the dog to a vet. He is sick. Charlie, I am sorry to hear that. Marilyn, it's okay. The veterinarian said he would be fine. He just got lonely. Marilyn sits at the table. Charlie returns to his seat. Marilyn, I didn't know dogs get lonely like humans. Charlie smiles softly. Charlie, they are made of flesh and blood. Marilyn, I heard dogs dream like us. They even snap out of nightmare in the middle of the night. Charlie, they worry about people who take care of them. Maybe the dog felt your heart could be in danger. Marilyn, what do you mean my heart is in danger? Charlie, humorously, the dog thinks I am not what you think I am. I might hurt your feeling. There is a pause. Marilyn looks at his eyes seductively. She likes him. Marilyn, I will take a chance. Charlie, sure. But I warned you ahead of time. Every beautiful girl that I fell in love, I ended up breaking their hearts. It's not because of I fell out of love. But everywhere I go, bad luck follows me, as if I broke that magic mirror in the famous fairy tale, which divulged Snow White is the fairest them of all. Marilyn, maybe, your luck will change with me. Charlie, I hope so. I will keep my finger crossed. Maybe collect 4-leaf clovers. Plant a rose to attract a ladybug, and keep lucky dice in my pocket at all time. And perhaps, I might wear an evil eye talisman around my neck to ward bad luck. Marilyn, that is a good start. But just don't cut rabbit foot. That is crossing the line. I love animals. Charlie, no, I won't hurt any rabbit. I love bunnies too. They share soft smiles. Marilyn, they should leave them alone. I don't see any luck behind rabbit foot. It should be considered as bad luck to cut those poor creatures' feet. Charlie, some people get caught up with superstitions, try to change their lucks, maybe take a shortcut in life, or perhaps ward evil, and do things that don't make sense. You know, rabbit was a symbol of good luck as a whole by Celtic people 600 BCE, before Common Era. Then down the road, people decided to be creative, or rather keep things in perspective and considerately. You know, they started eating rabbits and just kept their feet for good luck. Marilyn smiles softly. Marilyn, that is fucked up. Charlie, it's a joke. They thought rabbits were shape-shifted witches. They can transform themselves into rabbits at night. Thus, killing one in full moon and keeping its left foot bring you good luck. Marilyn, that is just sick. The last thing I want to see is people accusing women of being witches, cut their feet, and carry them around for good luck. He smiles softly. Charlie, humorously, I won't allow that to happen to you as long as I am alive. You look bewitching. Marilyn, is that right? Charlie, I feel I am the luckiest person in the world, sitting here talking to you, looking at your beautiful face, and counting the stars in your sexy eyes. And just the thought of kissing your delicious lips makes my life complete. You look stunning. She smiles in beauty. Marilyn, thanks. A waitress named Amanda, 25, comes up to the table. Amanda, how can I take your order? Marilyn grabs the menu, looks at it. She immediately closes the menu. Marilyn, can I have chicken sandwich? Amanda writes it down. Amanda, anything to drink? Marilyn, cherry coke. Amanda, what about you, Charlie? Charlie, holding his moonshine, give me another glass of moonshine. I'll skip dinner. Amanda nods, sure, and walks away. Marilyn, you're all right? Charlie, yes, I am. Why? Marilyn, I thought we came here to have dinner. Charlie, I know, but I don't feel like eating. Marilyn, why's that? Charlie, I got stomachache. If I skip dinner now, I'll be okay later. Marilyn, who said that? Charlie, common sense. Marilyn, what common sense? Charlie, common sense that says, if you have stomachache, you should skip meal. You'll be fine when you go to the bed. She smiles in beauty. Marilyn, seductively, you should still eat something before you sleep. You never know what sleeping with empty stomach does to your health. He knows what she means but plays it cool. Charlie, softly, I'm guilty as charged. He gives her a soft smile. On the stage, Jody Miller continues to sing Summertime. Charlie and Marilyn continue to talk without a sound. Pan to, Jody. She sings like an angel whose heart is caught on fire. We stay with her for a bit. Int. Zeros, later. Amanda returns with cherry coke and a glass of moonshine. She gives Marilyn the cherry coke. She places the moonshine in front of Charlie. Amanda, to Marilyn, I'll be right back with your meal in a minute. Marilyn, thanks. Amanda grabs the empty glass on the table. Amanda, to Charlie, let me bring you a couple of tea bread, this white lightning is very strong. Charlie, I'm okay, Amanda. I'll manage just fine. Amanda, okay. I was just trying to be helpful. Charlie, thanks for the thought. Amanda, anytime. Amanda walks away. Marilyn looks at Charlie with suspense. Marilyn, referring to the drink, what's it? Charlie, moonshine. Marilyn, can I have a sip? Charlie, feel free. He pushes the glass toward her. Marilyn grabs the glass and takes a sip. It hits her like lightning. Marilyn, what's this thing? Charlie, it's homebrew. Off her look. They make it at home. Marilyn, it's strong. She takes another sip, and returns it to him. Marilyn, why they call it moonshine? Charlie, I don't know, but I heard a fairy tale. Once upon a time, a girl named True Beauty ran away from her home and came to this native Indians' village. The Indians were drinking these hooches and singing powwow songs. Then the chief got up, and walked into the river. He saw the most beautiful girl in the world. I mean, she was so beautiful, the stars in the sky fall like snow. And the angels in heaven bleed as if God made each one of them without bone marrow. The next day, the chief sworn that he saw the moon herself. Hence, they called it moonshine to honor her. Marilyn, that's interesting story, but what happened to her? Charlie, humorously, she stood on the side of the street, waiting for a ride. Then came this stranger, driving a 1942 Chevrolet Corvette, and gave her a ride. There is a pause. He gazes at her eyes softly. She looks at him silently. She then. Marilyn, after that beautiful stranger gave her a ride, then what happened next? Charlie, he waited for her at a nightclub called Ciro's. She walked in, wearing a tantalizing red gown. They sat at a table, gazing at each other's eyes, daydreaming about love, and talking about luck. Nevertheless, he just tells her that she has the most beautiful eyes that he has ever seen. I mean, they are so radiant, alluring, and beautiful. One can literally see the creation of heavens and stars in the universe in her two beautiful irises. She smiles in beauty, looks at his eyes with seduction, grabs her cherry coke. Marilyn, let's drink for her. He grabs his moonshine. They cheer, and take sips. Int. Phillips Cottage, night. Natalie is on the stage, singing Cole Porter's What Is This Thing Called Love with the Isaac Band. 5 male and 3 female dancers perform with well-choreographed dance. Close up, Jimmy Ice. He is at the bar standing with a glass of scotch while watching Natalie sings. Close up, Natalie. She continues to sing while dancing like a ballerina. We stay with her for a bit. Int. Ciro's, night. We are back with Marilyn and Charlie. Dinner has already been served. Marilyn is not really eating. She's barely touched her food, had few bites from her chicken sandwich, eating only French fries. Charlie is looking at her as if she were the most enthralling living soul that God had ever created. She looks at him. There is silent moment. She then. Marilyn, what do you like to talk about? Charlie, everything except religion. Marilyn, why religion? Charlie, it scares me, the concept of going to hell and burn for eternity. Marilyn, it's a little harsh. Don't you think? Charlie, you could say that. She gives him a soft alluring smile. Marilyn, what do you like? Charlie, I like everything that's beautiful and mysterious. But I miss the feeling of being madly in love. Marilyn, what do you mean by being madly in love? Charlie, you know, that unconditional love. Marilyn, tell me about it. Charlie, it's like out-of-body experience. You have no control over it. She smiles softly and gazes at his eyes with seduction. On the stage, Jody Miller begins to sing So Wonderful. EXT beach, ocean, night. Clear sky, bright moon, and sparkling stars. Marilyn and Charlie walk down the ocean, conversing. But we don't hear what they are saying due to Jody Miller's So Wonderful. Then the music on the soundtrack plays softly. Marilyn takes off her red gown and runs into the water without a single drop of cloth, nude. The wave wet her. She screams. Charlie looks at her in wonder. Marilyn, come on, Charlie. Charlie, it's okay. I'll just watch you swim. Marilyn, don't be ridiculous. She comes to him and pulls his arm. Marilyn, come on. I don't want to swim alone. Charlie resists playfully. Marilyn pulls him more. Charlie moves just a little bit. On the soundtrack, In the Mood by Glenn Miller plays melodiously. She wraps her arms around Charlie's neck and gives him a long juicy kiss. Then, Charlie carries Marilyn on his shoulder and runs into the water as she screams and laughs playfully. They get into the ocean and fall into the water as the wave hit them. They laugh joyously. Charlie takes off his shirt and pant, throws them away. He holds Marilyn's hand. They move farther down the ocean and continue to swim as the wave crashes on them. Charlie and Marilyn get closer and kiss intimately. Then a big wave comes and hits them, breaking the kiss. Charlie and Marilyn laugh, they get out of the water fooling around. Charlie chases her and catches her. They fall on the sand and kiss French. Close up, Charlie and Marilyn. They kiss more passionately. Int. Charlie's apartment, bedroom, night. Charlie and Marilyn make love surrounded by candles. It's seductive, steamy, and passionate. We stay with them with series cuts. Int. Flip's cottage, Natalie dressing room, night. Natalie sits in front of the mirror, fixing her makeup. She hums with Billie Holiday's Lover Man. It's playing on the stereo. She wipes out the lipsticks from her lips with a small dry towel. She puts the towel aside, gets up from her seat, and walks to the closet. She grabs a light blue dress, and places it on the chair. Natalie takes out her underwear, puts it on the table, and sits on the chair. She opens the drawer, sees a letter, takes the letter, and reads it softly to herself. Natalie, beautiful tulip, life is sexier whenever you smile, feel joy, even cries, and tell sweet lies. Charlie, voice over I sing and dance when I think about your eyes. My heart is set on fire. Then suddenly, my soul gets consumed with desire. Everything I touch turns to red. I talk with Aphrodite. I hear your voices in my head. Yet my soul bleed like a flesh each day without you. And I can't feel my heartbeat as if I were dead. Somehow, I learn how to survive. But the thought of making you happy is the only thing that keeps me alive. I love you more than God adore peace, devil desires destruction, a saint treasures passion, a man loves his wife. Till lust do us apart, I want to kiss your lips more painful than the barbed wired around my soul, and feel the ache as if I were stabbed in the heart with a knife. It says I love you, yours Charlie. She then sees Jimmy I standing at the door through the mirror. She puts the letter away, takes a lipstick, and begins to apply the lipstick on her lips. Close up, Jimmy. He walks in and stands behind her. He says nothing, looking at her through the mirror. Then, out of nowhere Jimmy produces our favorite Marie Antoinette diamond necklace, puts it around Natalie's neck and kisses her on the shoulder. She looks at him through the mirror. Natalie, softly, were you a womanizer? Jimmy, no. Why did you say that? Natalie, just curious. Jimmy, no. I'm not. You miss out the greatest part of romance. Kisses her neck. If I see something I desire, I'll open my heart to the fullest extent of passion. Natalie, what if you get hurt? Jimmy, we all will get hurt at some point of our lives. That's life. He softly caresses her on the neck, turns her chair, slowly lifts her nightgown, opens her legs, kisses and caresses her thigh, comes to the depths of her legs, lifts his eyes, and looks at her. Jimmy Ice, will you marry me? She looks at his eyes softly, pushes his head, inducing his face her onto her vagina, and lies on her back as he begins to give her oral pleasure. Close up, Natalie. Her face begins to go through the early stages of sexual passion, sighing deep and breathing heavy with pleasure. Int. Charlie's apartment, living room, night. Charlie and Marilyn sit in the bathtub that is placed in the middle of the living room. Charlie is behind. Marilyn rests on his chest. He is reciting a poem by Bright Star, Would I Were Steadfast as Thou Art by John Keats from memory. Charlie, Bright Star, would I were steadfast as thou art. Not in lone splendor hung aloft the night. And watching, with eternal lids apart. Like nature's patient sleepless eremite. The moving waters at their priest-like task. of pure ablution round earth's human shores. Or gazing on the new soft fallen mask of snow upon the mountains and the moors. No, yet still steadfast, still unchangeable. Pillow thee upon my fair love's ripening breast. To feel forever its soft fall and swell. Awake forever in a sweet unrest. Still to hear her tender taken breath. And so live ever or else swoon to death. She smiles in beauty. He turns his face and kisses her on the lips. Marilyn, why do I feel like I have known you my whole life? Charlie, you do? I am honored. He kisses her on the shoulder. Marilyn, I think we were lovers in the previous life. Charlie, it's possible, but tell me, how does it feel to be the most autoerotic girl alive? He kisses her on the shoulder. Marilyn, what do you mean by autoerotic girl? Charlie, dead drop gorgeous. She smiles in beauty. They kiss. Marilyn, I don't mind being dead drop gorgeous. But I would rather be an okay looking girl and treated with love and respect than beautiful and perceived as stupid. Charlie, if a girl is born beautiful and acts silly, she has unspoken excuse regardless what they say. Marilyn, what are you trying to say? Do you think I am silly? Charlie, no. You are the most beautiful girl in the world. I look at your eyes and wonder what is stopping you from ruling the world. She smiles in beauty. He kisses her on the shoulder. Marilyn, someday, I will rule the world. But I am not into politics. Charlie, humorously, some people feel politics is part of life. Marilyn, do you? Charlie, do I what? Marilyn, would you run for the president of USA? He smiles softly. Charlie, maybe not. Marilyn, why not? Charlie, I would like to think I am exceptional. Marilyn, what makes you think you're exceptional? Charlie's, just at this instant falling in love with you is better than ruling the kingdom of God. She smiles in beauty. They kiss French. Montage. We will see Charlie and Marilyn visiting interesting places in California, montage within montage. On the soundtrack, Take the A Train by Duke Ellington plays melodiously. Marilyn and Charlie visit Natural History Museum of Los Angeles County. They are having fun looking at all kinds of specimen, artifact, animal habitats, dinosaurs, and pre-Columbian cultures. Marilyn and Charlie come to MGM and visit the setting of Till the Clouds Roll By. Charlie introduces Marilyn to young Frank Sinatra. Marilyn is awestruck by Frank. They have few words. Marilyn and Charlie ride in a Ferris wheel at an amusement park in LA. They sit at a baseball stadium and watch Los Angeles Angels versus New York Yankees while eating hot dogs. Joe DiMaggio comes to the plate and hits a home run. The ball comes flying to Charlie and Marilyn. Charlie gets up and catches the ball bare hand. The audiences nearby give him a round of applause. He then gives Marilyn the ball. She takes the ball. Charlie and Marilyn kiss. Marilyn and Charlie visit San Diego Zoo. They look at all kinds of animals, reptiles, and birds in their natural habitat while talking, fooling around, kissing, and enjoying their outings. Charlie's convertible. Charlie is behind the wheel. Marilyn sits in the passenger seat. They are driving in Pacific Coast Highway North. Napa Valley. Marilyn and Charlie drive through Napa Valley, wine country of California. They arrive to a wine tasting place. They walk in and have glasses of red wine, enjoying life to the fullest. Marilyn and Charlie drive by Big Sur. We see the breathtaking area of Big Sur that's located along the Pacific coast and the stunning views of the ocean, the cliffs, and the mountains. San Francisco. Charlie and Marilyn drive through the Golden Gate Bridge. They spend quality time at Golden Gate Park, visiting Mallard Lake, North Windmill, and Conservatory of Flowers. They then come to the city and ride the historical cable cars before they take a walk at Lombard Street. Monterey Bay. Marilyn and Charlie drive down south from San Francisco and come to Monterey Bay. They visit Monterey Bay Aquarium, the Santa Cruz Wharf, and Lighthouse. Marilyn and Charlie visit Yosemite National Park. They spend quality time at Yosemite Valley that is surrounded by imposing granite mountains, and beautiful waterfalls while hiking, rock climbing, kayaking, and biking. Carmel by the Sea. Marilyn and Charlie visit an art gallery. Later, they take a long walk in the beach at Carmel by the Sea, holding hands, fooling around, talking, and kissing. Marilyn and Charlie shop at the grocery while talking and playing around. They are putting everything in the shopping cart, lettuce, tomatoes, grapes, etc. They come to the wine section. Marilyn selects Domaine du Vieux Telegraphy red wine. She says something sweet. Charlie smiles softly, kisses her, takes the wine from her hand, and places it in the cart. On the soundtrack, Boogie Chillin' by John Lee Hooker plays melodiously. EXT Lake House, Day. It's an exclusive lake house, located in the remote part of California. It's like Camp David. But instead of a country retreat of the President of the United States and his guests, it's a perfect getaway for two lovers. Int. Lake House, Kitchen, Day. Charlie and Marilyn are preparing chicken Florentine pesto pasta, caprese salad, and parmigiana, a southern Italian dish made with a shallow fried sliced filling, eggplant, layered with cheese and tomato sauce while dancing with John Lee's Hooker Boogie Chillin'. Marilyn puts the parmigiana in the stove. Charlie cuts a slice of tomato and tries to feed Marilyn the slice with his hand. But she resists playfully. He then puts the slice in his mouth. She gets closer and eats from his mouth before they join in a long intimate kiss. Int. Lake House, Living Room, Night. Marilyn and Charlie sit at the dinner table, enjoying their chicken Florentine pesto pasta, caprese salad, and parmigiano with a bottle of red wine. On the soundtrack, Dream a Little Dream of Me by Ella Fitzgerald plays melodiously. They are talking but we don't hear what they are saying due to the music on the soundtrack. Charlie says something romantic. Marilyn smiles in beauty, gets up, comes up to Charlie, and sits on his lap. They talk more between soft kisses. She must have asked him what he likes about her. Charlie points at his cheek where her beauty mark is. She kisses him on the cheek. Charlie points at his temple, her brain. She kisses him on the temple. He points at his nose. She kisses him on the nose. He points at his eyes. She kisses him on the eyebrow. He points at his lips. She kisses him on the lips. They kiss French. Int. Lake house, living room, night. Charlie and Marilyn dance slow with Dream a Little Dream of Me. Int. Beach, dawn. Marilyn and Charlie sit at a twisted tree log that's placed for the sole purpose of resting. There is a fire to keep them warm. Charlie, who is leaning his back against the log, holds Marilyn next to his heart, planting soft kisses on her temple. Ella Fitzgerald's Dream a Little Dream of Me falls in the backgrounds and plays softly. Marilyn, I heard that you used to be a boxer. Charlie, something like that. He kisses her on the temple. Marilyn, were you lightweight? Charlie, featherweight. Marilyn, what's that? Charlie, a professional boxer whose weight does not exceed 126 pounds. Marilyn, I weigh 115 pounds. You only weighed 126 pounds. Charlie, I used to weight between 126 to 130. But I weight more now. Marilyn, why did you stop boxing? There is a pause. Charlie looks at the sun as it breaks the cloud and scatters across the ocean. He then. Charlie, humorously, I didn't want to ruin my image or rather bust my lips, in case a beautiful girl like you would come along and sweep my heart off its feet. I thought I would kiss her lips till I run out of breath. She smiles in beauty. They kiss French. On the soundtrack, Easy to Love by Billie Holiday plays melodiously. Close up, Charlie and Marilyn. They kiss more intimately. Int. Resort, bedroom, day. Charlie and Marilyn make love in the middle of the day. It's alluring, enchanting, and passionate. We stay with them with series cuts. Int. Rose garden, night. Charlie is behind the piano. Marilyn sings My Baby Just Cares for Me, leaning on the piano. Right down by the stage, Sean, Luke, Seth, and little Kansas sit at the table, enjoying the show while drinking whiskeys. A gorgeous girl named Valeria, 22, sits on Sean's lap with her arm around him. He is kind of player. They are making out with soft kisses in between watching the show. Close up, Charlie and Marilyn. Marilyn turns around and gives Charlie a beautiful smile while singing. Charlie returns her smile, and continues to stroke the piano melodiously. Pan 2, the entrance. Natalie walks in, wearing a dazzling light gold see-through gown that shows her skin. Charlie looks at her. Natalie comes to an open seat, and sits at the table. Close up, Marilyn. She continues to sing My Baby Just Cares for Me. Close up, Natalie. She takes out a cigarette, places it on her lips, lights it, takes a drag, and breathes the smoke at the screen, watching Charlie. Close up, Marilyn. She finishes the song with seductive voice. The boys and the audiences clap. Natalie doesn't look too impressed. She continues to watch Charlie as he continues to stroke the piano solo. Close up, Natalie. She continues to watch Charlie, smoking her cigarette. A waitress named Kimberly comes to Natalie's table, carrying a glass of scotch on a tray. She picks up the scotch and places it in front of Natalie. Kimberly, it's on Charlie. Natalie, thanks. Kimberly, you welcome. Kimberly walks away. Natalie takes another drag from her cigarette and exhales out the smoke with style. Close up, Charlie. He finishes performing. The boys and the audiences gives him a round of applause. Charlie gets up, comes around the piano, takes Marilyn from the piano, and puts her down on the floor. Charlie, that was beautiful. Marilyn, thanks. You were great too. They exchange soft kisses. Marilyn, let me go change. Charlie nods, okay. Marilyn walks toward her dressing room. Charlie turns his eyes, catches Kimberly's eyes, and in a flash, gives her an index finger, indicating, one scotch. Kimberly nods, okay. Charlie comes to the boys in his way to Natalie. Sean, that was great. Charlie and Sean exchange fist punch. Little Kansas, she's here. Little Kansas gives Charlie open palm. Charlie slaps little Kansas's hand. Seth, who is sitting at the other side. Seth, she looks amazing. You can see her skin through her dress. I think she didn't wear underwear. Luke, take good care of her. Charlie gives them a V sign, peace, as he walks toward Natalie. On the stage, Queen Bee walks in. The audiences give a round of applause. Close up, Charlie. He comes to Natalie. Charlie, what's up? Natalie, nothing much. Charlie, you look flawless. Natalie, as usual? Charlie, better than ever. Natalie, thanks. But I'll take that flawless as vulgar rather than a compliment. You used to be articulate with praise and flattering words. Charlie, I lost some of my magic. I hope you don't mind if I blame you for that. He gives her a soft charismatic smile, and sits in front of her. On the stage, Queen Bee looks at Charlie. Queen Bee, ladies and gentlemen, give Marilyn Monroe and Charlie another round of applause once again. The audiences clap their hands moderately. Charlie gets up, takes a bow, and sits back. Close up, Charlie and Natalie. Natalie takes a drag from her cigarette, exhales the smoke at Charlie with style, crashes her cigarette, picks up her scotch, has a sip, and puts it down. Natalie, who's that bitch that I keep hearing about? Marilyn Monroe. On the background, Queen Bee begins to sing I Put Spell on You. Charlie, humorously she fell out of the sky. Natalie, I know you can be more charming than that, Charlie. He smiles softly. Charlie, no doubt. That's why they call me ladies' man, except I don't trust the voice in my heart. Natalie, is that right? Charlie, what do you think? Natalie, I think you enjoy hurting us. He smiles softly. There is a pause. They gaze at each other's eyes tenderly. He then. Charlie, what brought you here? Natalie, I thought you missed me. Charlie, if I told you there wasn't a day that had passed without thinking about you, would you believe me? Natalie, no I don't believe you. Charlie, you're like love potion disguised as a beautiful itch, which prey on the heart more intoxicating than witchcraft, lust, agony, and incantation, and leave a soul restless. She gives him a seductive smile. Natalie, I'm flattered. Kimberly brings a glass of scotch for Charlie. Kimberly, here, Charlie. She places the scotch in front of him. Charlie, thanks, Kim. Kimberly, anytime. Kimberly walks away. Charlie gazes at Natalie's eyes softly for a second. He then. Charlie, what's it? Natalie, bad news. Charlie, let me hear it. Natalie, Jimmy sent me to tell B that he would burn down the club, collect the money from the insurance, and turn it into a parking lot if she does not come up with the rest of the money by Saturday. Charlie picks up his scotch, takes a sip, and puts it back on the table. Charlie, mockingly, it doesn't sound that bad. Natalie, I'm only a messenger. Charlie, I know. They said don't kill the messenger. But what they don't tell you is the messenger is the one who is to blame for bad news. Natalie, how is that? Charlie, you just want to get even with me. Natalie, what makes you say that? There is a pause. He looks at her eyes with tenderness. He then. Charlie, I could be wrong. This audio file was created by Panopreter Basic. You can download it at www.panopreter.com. Sometimes, I hear voices in my head. They tell me not to trust you. They blame you for everything that goes wrong in my life. She can't help but smile softly. There is a silent moment. They gaze at each other's eyes as if they wanted to kiss till their heart bleed blue. A medium shot of Queen Bee as she continues to sing I Put Spell on You. Then. Close up, Natalie. She licks her lips in seduction. Natalie, I got engaged. Jimmy and I are planning to get married next month. Charlie looks at her eyes softly. He picks up his scotch, takes a sip, and puts down the glass on the table. Charlie, softly, I'm happy for you. Int. Philip's Cottage, night. Close up, Alicia. She sits at the table with a glass of scotch. Alicia is wearing a striking black gown. On the stage, Ronald Rodriguez plays piano. Then comes Jimmy to the screen and walks up to Alicia. She gives him her hand. He takes her hand, kisses it softly, and sits in front of her. Jimmy eyes, what's it, gorgeous? Alicia, business. She takes out her cigarette and places it on her lips. Out of nowhere appears a lighter on Jimmy's hand and lights her cigarette. Jimmy eyes, a beautiful woman like you shouldn't smoke at all. It makes her look lewd when she's truly noble. Alicia, thanks for your advice. I'm in the process of quitting. But for some reason I'm very good at being lewd. It's second nature to me. Jimmy eyes, what is your first nature? Alicia, the actual sexual intercourse. Jimmy, no one can deny that. You are the sexiest woman alive, except second-hand smoking is bad for the health. They said it causes cancer. Alicia takes a drag and breathes the smoke at his face. Alicia, I didn't know that. Jimmy, knowledge is power. It won't let you down. Alicia, is that right? Jimmy eyes, it's not personal. I am very sensitive when it comes to health and safety. Alicia, I can see that. There is a pause. She continues to smoke. Jimmy, what's it? Alicia, you have something that belongs to me. Jimmy, you're not talking about Marie Antoinette diamond necklace by any chance, are you? Alicia, I need it back. There is a pause. They gaze at each other's eyes. He then. Jimmy, how much are you planning to pay for it? Alicia, $3 million in cash. Jimmy, how you want to do it? She takes a drag from her cigarette and breathes out the smoke at his face. Alicia, Saturday 9 p.m. at Orpheum Theater 842 South Broadway. She gives him the cigarette. He takes the cigarette, has a drag, and exhales out the smoke by her face. Jimmy, I'll make sure everything goes according to the plan. He crashes the cigarette on the ashtray, gets up, and walks away. Int. Uncle Bobby Coffee Shop, night. Charlie, Sean, Seth, Luke, and little Kansas sit at the table in circle playing card. They are in the middle of planning a robbery. Sean breaks it down. Sean, like I said, it is a 5-man job, federal bank, in and out, 2 minutes the top. Seth and Luke control the crowd. Charlie and I will get the money. Little will wait us in the getaway car. Referring the cards on his hand. Ace and King, full house. He places his card on the table, Q, Q, K, A, and looks at Charlie. They all look at Charlie. Charlie places his card, Queen Heart and Queen Flower, making it 4 queens with the rest of the cards on the table. Seth, that would do the trick. Int. Rose Garden, night. Valeria comes to the stage wearing a Catholic nun outfit, and begins to sing Josephine Baker's J.A.I. Do Amours, dancing exotically. Down the stage, Charlie and Sean sit at a table with scotches watching Valeria. Sean, beauty is a character that provides a perceptual experience of gratification. Close up, Valeria. Dancing exotic, she strips her clothes one at a time. Int. Getaway car, moving, morning. Little Kansas is behind the wheel. Charlie is in the passenger seat with a sawed-off shotgun. Sean is in back seat, at the left corner with a .32 Cabaret revolver. Luke is in the middle with Tommy gun. Seth is next to him, at the right side of the seat, with 2 semi-automatics. All of them are wearing complete black and white nun's outfit like Valeria at the club. On the soundtrack, J.A.I. Do Amours by Josephine Baker plays melodiously. EXT getaway car, moving, morning. The car comes to a federal bank and pulls next to the sidewalk. EXT/int. Getaway car, morning. All 4 of them Charlie, Sean, Luke, and Seth come out of the car and begin to walk toward the bank, except little Kansas. He stays behind the wheel. EXT Federal Bank, car, night. The boys enter the bank. Pan to, little Kansas. He hums singing J.A.I. Do Amours with Josephine Baker. The camera stays with little Kansas. Omit. Omit. Then. We hear a gunshot bow. 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 The music stops. We hear 4 more gunshots bow. 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 Little Kansas's eyes get wider. He starts the car out of panic. Pan to, Seth comes out of the bank, carrying Luke, who is shot in the stomach. Then Sean runs out the bank with 2 bags full of money, passes both Seth and Luke, and comes to the getaway car, as Seth drags Luke to the car. Luke, I'm going to die. Seth, you're not gonna die. Stay with me. Sean puts the money on the floor and opens the door for Seth and Luke. Seth gets in the car, pulling Luke with him as Sean helps. EXT/int. Getaway car, morning. Little Kansas, what happened? Sean, he got shot. That is what happened. Open the fucking trunk. Little Kansas opens the trunk from his seat. Seth, pulling Luke, I got him. Sean picks up the money, comes to the back of the car in hurry, and puts the money in the truck. Int. Getaway car, morning. Close up, Luke. He is bleeding like a stuck-up pig. Little Kansas looks at Seth. Little Kansas, where is Charlie? Seth, he's inside. Little Kansas, is he okay? EXT getaway car, trunk, morning. Sean takes a big sharp barbed wire out of the trunk, comes to the street, and lines it across the road to prevent anyone from chasing them. Sean returns to the car and gets in the back seat. An establishing shot of the bank entrance. Omit. Omit. Close up, Charlie. Carrying a bag full of money, he steps out of the bank, and walks toward the car. He comes to the car, opens the passenger door, and gets in the passenger seat. The car drives away. Omit. 2 police cars come to the scene, speeding, howling, and blaring and run into the barbed wire. The police officers stop the cars due to flat tires. 3 more police cars arrive at the scene. They stop behind the first 2 police cars. Int. Getaway car, moving, night. The boys are removing their nuns' outfits. Luke holds his wounded stomach, fighting for his life, and gasping for air. Luke, crying in pain, I can't believe that motherfucker shot me. It hurt like hell. Seth, we have to take him to the hospital. Sean, that's out of option. Seth, what the fuck you mean that's out of option? He's fucking losing a lot of blood. Sean, we'll take him to Queen Bee. She will fix him. Seth, what's she gonna do? Cut him into pieces and removes the bullet with her fingers. He needs a medical attention. Let's just take him to the fucking hospital. Sean, are you fucking nut? It is 9:30 in the fucking morning. Every motherfucker police in the town is going to look for a man who just took a bullet in the gut, like they did when Little got shot in the neck for that silly warehouse we did. They came to the hospital and took him away while he was still bleeding like a sheep. Luckily, I was there. I shot them in the kneecaps and took him away. Seth, if we don't take him to the hospital, he'll die in the car any fucking second. Luke, in pain please, Charlie, just take me to Diana. She knows what to do. Charlie closes his eyes. Little Kansas, Diana is in Paris. She left few days ago to visit her sister. Let's go to the library and get a medical book. Marilyn is a nurse. She took some class at UCLA. She'll fix him like she fixed Charlie. Sean, that seems a great idea. Seth, what do you say, Charlie? Charlie opens his eyes. Charlie, to Little Kansas take a shortcut. EXT getaway car, moving, morning. The car drives a little bit, then makes a U-turn, and moves down 2 blocks. They make a right turn and disappears from our sight. Int. Rose Garden, day. Marilyn is in the middle of operating Luke. She has opened Luke's abdomen, and trying to retrieve the bullet out his gut. Luke lies unconscious on a table. The rest of them, Charlie, Sean, Seth, Little Kansas, Queen Bee, and Uncle Bobby, are standing, assisting, talking, watching, etc. We see a good deal of stolen medical equipment on a table. Marilyn continues to operate. Sean, to Seth, they were lying on the fucking floor. You guys weren't supposed to let anyone fucking move. How hard was that? Seth, how should I fucking know that motherfucker was carrying a .38? My eyes were on the first 2 guards at the door. I thought he had the crowd under fucking control. Till I heard a gunshot. I saw Lou on the floor with a bullet in his stomach. And shot that son of a bitch who shot him. Uncle Bobby, did you kill him? Seth, I don't know. I left the bank with Luke. To Charlie, is he dead? Marilyn looks at Charlie. He looks at her eyes, quickly turns his eyes toward Uncle Bobby. Charlie, no. He barely touched him, just a cut at the side of his neck. He will live. Uncle Bobby, was he a police officer? Charlie, no, I checked his pocket. He doesn't have any badge. Sean, just a dickhead is trying to be a fucking hero. I was going to blow his brain off if it weren't for self-conscious. I didn't want anybody's blood on my hand. You know. Blood was shooting from his neck like a water fountain. I felt kind of sorry for him too. Uncle Bobby, Charlie, I thought you said it was only a cut. What is he talking about, blood shooting like a water fountain? Charlie, he is just exaggerating. I told them to put pressure on the wound and call 911 as soon as I leave the bank. In the meantime, we see Marilyn doing great job retrieving the bullet from Luke's stomach despite the fact not believing what she is hearing. Queen Bee watches Luke, who is drenched in blood. Queen Bee, I am feeling dizzy. I'm out of here. Softly to Charlie. Don't forget that, Charlie. Thanks for everything. I owe you. Queen Bee gives him a wink. He nods, sure. Queen Bee walks away off screen. Close up, Marilyn. She continues to perform amazing medical work. Marilyn, to Little Kansas, pass me the nibbler. Little Kansas grabs the nibbler and hands to her. She takes the nibbler, slowly pulls the bullet out of Luke's belly. Everybody looks at her in wonder. She places the bullet on a tray and the nibbler on the table. She grabs a needle, and begins to sew Luke's wound. Marilyn, to Seth, I need a bottle of whiskey. Seth, what for? Marilyn, to clean the germs. Seth walks toward the bar to get a bottle of whiskey off screen as Marilyn sews Luke's wound. Charlie looks at her in wonder. Close up, Marilyn. She finishes stitching, puts the needle, grabs a Caesar, and cuts the thread. Seth comes to the operation table with a bottle of Johnny Walker, opens the top, and gives Marilyn the bottle. Seth, is he alive? Marilyn, we gonna find out. Marilyn takes the whiskey from Seth's hand, has a sip out of the bottle, and pours the liquor down on Luke's belly. Close up, Luke. He comes out of the sleep, screaming. Everybody takes a step back in panic. They say nothing. Seth then. Sean, are you okay, man? Luke looks at his stomach. Luke, I feel merciless burn as if volcano erupted inside my stomach. Uncle Bobby, you'll be just fine. Thank this little angel for bringing you back to alive, Marilyn. Charlie looks at Marilyn with amazement. Marilyn catches Charlie's eyes and gives him a wink. Marilyn, to Luke, lie back. Let me put a medical bandage on the wound. Uncle Bobby, patting Luke, don't worry about him. He's a warrior. Let's just all go celebrate Queen's birthday. Int. Queen Bee's house, birthday, sunset. We are at Queen Bee's graceful house, celebrating her birthday. Charlie, holding a glass of champagne, walks through the crowd. He greets some of the ladies with his soulful smile. Charlie's POV. Uncle Bobby plays piano singing, I Need Your Love Tonight. Queen Bee is talking to a man named Clifton Bishop, 43. Sean is kissing Valeria by the window. Seth, Luke, and the rest of the guests are dancing, chatting, drinking, kissing, etc. Close up, Queen Bee. She excuses Clifton and walks to Charlie. Queen Bee, I couldn't thank you enough, Charlie. They hug, and kiss on the cheeks. Queen Bee, you saved my life. Charlie, it's nothing. She smiles softly. Queen Bee, where is beautiful, Marilyn? Charlie, she is somewhere around. Charlie looks around. He can't find her. EXT house, front porch, sunset. Marilyn sits on the steps. Charlie comes out the house and sits next to her. Charlie, it is a lovely evening. Marilyn, it's romantic. There is a silent moment. He then. Marilyn, why, Charlie? Luke could have died if the bullet had hit him a couple of inches to the right. It just missed from tearing down a major organ. He's lucky to be alive. Charlie, softly, when you deal with things that are unacceptable by the law, you must be willing to take chances that put your life in jeopardy. It's a calculated risk. Marilyn, what if it was you? How would you feel if you got shot and died, robbing banks? Charlie, if it's my time to go, I'll let destiny take me to a place where peace is a state of mind. She smiles softly. There is a pause. She then. Marilyn, what does it mean? Charlie, under his breath, what is it? Marilyn, I saw you talking to her. Charlie, she came to tell me that she's getting married, is all. There is a pause. She then. Marilyn, are you still in love with her? Charlie, I don't know. I can't stop thinking about her. She has become the sin that dies in my liver and resurrects in my heart, but bleeds the depth of my soul as if she were the reason for my very existence. Marilyn, I see what you mean. She is a very lucky girl. She gets up, turns around, and walks inside, leaving Charlie on the foreground of the screen. Int. Joey Razorblades Villa, torturing room, night. We see a man named Tommy, 34, tied up on a chair. Two goons, Roberto, 33, and Antonio, 31, are beating the hell out of him to get information. Roberto punches Tommy on the nose. Blood comes out of Tommy's nose. Roberto, who's it? Tommy, your mother. Roberto punches Tommy on the nose twice. Blood comes out of Tommy's nose like crude oil. Roberto, why don't you just fucking tell us? I hate to see you like this, Tommy. Tommy, go fuck yourself. Roberto gives Antonio a sign as if he were saying it is your turn to beat him up. Simultaneously, out of the dark appears an enthusiastic mobster, Joey Vire aka Joey Razorblade, 42. He gives them sign hold on with his hand. Roberto and Antonio take a step back, and stand behind Tommy. Close up, Joey Razorblade. Joey Razorblade, I admire you, Tommy. Even though you would rather fuck your own mother than telling me who set up the hit, I have no problem with cutting your face like a mad cat. But I'll tell you a joke first. Once upon a time, a Guido named Dino was getting ready to go to Rome to visit his sick mother, just for a week, and told his younger brother Nicholas, the world champion of liar, to look after his wife while he was away. His brother said, sure, no problem. Tell mom I love her. The man ended up staying 9 months. And upon returning for Christmas, he finds his wife 9 months pregnant. And asks his brother what happened to her. He told him she had an affair with the Holy Ghost. She's carrying God's baby, a Messiah who is going to save mankind from alien invasion, the second coming of Christ. When the baby was born, it came out dark skin. She was fucking a black guy behind him too. Nicholas tells his brother. I think Jesus want to put spin on his image. First, he came as a Jewish, died for our sins, and resurrected from death. But this time, he wants to be dark skin, and spread the love around the world. We are living in a strange world. Dino said I can see that, his dick is bigger than a snake. Roberto and Antonio can't help but laugh just a little bit. Joey, I guess it's not a very funny story. Joey gives Roberto a nod. Roberto comes behind, pulls Tommy's hair, and grabs his jaw up till his eyes pops out. Joey takes out a straight razor and approaches to Tommy. Joey's POV. Joey opens Tommy's eyes and sees his irises. Joey Razorblade, I just love to see the reflection of the devil in a poor man's eyes. To Roberto, hold his head still. Roberto holds Tommy's head tight. Joey cuts off Tommy's face. Tommy's face is drenched in blood. Out of nowhere, Antonio produces a bottle of Chivas Regal and hands Joey the bottle. Joey pours liquor on Tommy's cut. Tommy screams in pain. Joey takes a step back. Roberto lets Tommy head go. Joey Razorblade, to Antonio, pass me that fucking towel. Joey gives Robert the Chivas Regal. Antonio takes it. At the entrance, a man named Alan, goon number 3, walks in. Alan, to Joey Razorblade, Albert wants to see you. He said he had appointment. Antonio gives Joey a small towel. Joey takes the towel. Joey Razorblade, cleaning Tommy's blood from his hand, tell him to wait at my office. I will be there in a minute. Joey turns his eyes and looks at Roberto. Joey Razorblade, if he doesn't talk, just cut off his tongue. He throws the towel on Tommy's face. EXT Rose Garden, back porch, lake, night. We see starry skies, bright moon, sparkling stars, and scenic lake. At the back of the porch, the far end of the staircase, Marilyn sits on top of a flat wooden balcony at the light frame wall with her back resting against the colonnade of the building. She is singing Billie Holiday's The Very Thought of You. Close up, Marilyn. She seems sad, turns her eyes, and looks at the direction of the camera, at the lake. Marilyn then hears harmonica. She smiles softly as if she heard the tune thousandth time. She turns her attention at the direction of the sound. It is Max. Close up, Max. He comes to the porch, playing harmonica. Max glances at her, puts his harmonica in his pocket, stands leaning on the colonnade of the building next to the staircase, facing Marilyn. Marilyn, do you believe in ghost story? Max, it depends on the story. Marilyn comes down from the balcony, walks toward him, and looks at his eyes with seduction. Marilyn, about a ghost who hunts you in your dream. Max stands properly. Max, tell me about it. She slaps him on the face. Max doesn't react as if he knew that was coming. She tries to slap him again, but he quickly holds her hand, brings her closer, and kisses her lips seductively with style. She gives him herself without a single feather of resistance, throwing her arms around his neck. She then parts her lips and pushes him slightly. Marilyn, I can't do this. I thought you were dead. Max, who told you that? Marilyn, the girls at the club. Max, I was in Paris. Marilyn, doing what? Max, recovering a missing art, Venus of Urbino by Titian. There is a pause. They get closer lips to lips. Marilyn, what are you doing here? Max, I'll tell you everything with dinner in the candlelight. They kiss. Int. Philip's cottage, night. On the stage, Natalie sings, Feeling You Have Got to Hide with 6 male and 6 female performance. It's a well-choreographic suggestive performance. Down by the stage, elites, cream of the crops, and glamorous customers watch Natalie performs in amazement. Jimmy sits at a table with a glass of scotch and a cigarette. One of his bodyguards, Lima, is standing behind him. Jimmy observes the audiences for a bit and turns his attention back to Natalie. Close up, Natalie. She continues to sing, dancing in seduction. Pan 2, entrance. Charlie steps in, carrying a briefcase. Natalie looks at him. Charlie catches his eyes and gives her a soft smile. Natalie gives him a wink and continues to perform. Nonetheless, before Charlie takes another step at the door, George, a bodyguard, stops him. George, your hands. Charlie brings his arms up. George searches him. Cooper comes up to them. Cooper, to George, it's okay. He's cool. George lets Charlie in. Charlie walks toward Jimmy escorted by Cooper. Close up, Natalie. She looks at Charlie, performing. Close up, Jimmy. He continues to watch Natalie. Charlie comes to the table where Jimmy sat. Cooper pulls a chair for him. Charlie takes a seat and places the briefcase on the table without taking his eyes from Natalie. Close up, Jimmy. Jimmy Ice, watching Natalie. It's good to see you again, Charlie. I thought you were dead. Charlie doesn't respond. They both continue to watch Natalie without taking their eyes off her. Close up, Natalie. She gives Charlie an alluring look as she continues to sing and dance in seduction. Pan 2, Charlie and Jimmy Ice. They continue to watch Natalie without taking their eyes off her. Jimmy Ice, she is trying to get you. Watch out. Charlie says nothing. Pan 2, Natalie. She continues to sing and dance as if she owned the stars in the sky, better than Catherine Zeta-Jones in Chicago. She knows she is a star. Then Natalie finishes singing. The audiences clap. Natalie walks to her dressing room. Close up, Jimmy and Charlie. Jimmy rolls his eyes and looks at Charlie. Jimmy Ice, let's get down to the business. Jimmy gives Cooper a sign to take the briefcase. Cooper grabs the briefcase, and walks away in the background, leaving Charlie and Jimmy to talk things over. Lima stands and watches Charlie. In the background, the band plays Jazz Kiss, Fever, and Eternity. Jimmy Ice, I want you to do me a small favor. Jimmy takes out a business card and gives Lima a sign to hand him a case. Lima takes out a small case from his chest pocket, gives Jimmy the case. Jimmy takes the case and puts it in front of Charlie with the card. Jimmy Ice, I want you to take Buttercup out. Show her good time. Then deliver this to the above address. She said it was with you that she had some of the best days of her life, till last night. Something made her change her mind after I fucked her till all her pubic hair fell from her vagina. She confessed that I was the devil personified as a man. Charlie looks at Jimmy with dread, then gets up from his chair in a blink of an eye, and punches him across the face, knocking him off his chair. The place gets silent. The music stops. Lima assists Jimmy on his feet. George and a new bodyguard Adam approach Charlie, drawing their guns. Jimmy gives his bodyguards a sign, stop it. Jimmy Ice, it's okay, guys. I got it under control. To Lima, just cool the guests down. Jimmy gives George and Adam a nod as if he were saying it's cool. He turns his eyes and looks at Charlie, who is not afraid of death. Charlie holds his ground. Jimmy gives him a smirk as Lima, George, and Adam enforce the issue in the background, making the people, who are chattering, to take their seat back. The band continues to play jazz. Close up, Jimmy. Jimmy Ice, that was a good one. I used to be a boxer myself like you. But that punch was no pussy by any mean. If I have to rate it 1 through 10, I'll give you 81 halves. You just took the daylight out of my brain and rouse hell in my soul. But I'll forgive you, Charlie. I am not a man who gets carried away over one punch. Glares at Charlie's eyes in a serious manner, picks up the package, Marie Antoinette diamond necklace, from the table. She wants to have few words with you. Just go ahead, take her out, and bring her back safe with my money. We'll call it even. Jimmy gives him the package. Charlie takes it. Jimmy turns around and begins to walk toward his office. He then stops short, turns around, and looks at Charlie. Jimmy Ice, I gave her my word that I wouldn't harm you as long as she is alive. Just to let you know, such promise is meant to be broken after an incident like this. Take care. Jimmy turns around and walks toward his office, leaving Charlie on the screen. Int. Flip's cottage, Natalie's dressing room, night. Natalie sits behind a mirror, painting her footnails red while smoking a cigarette in between sipping scotch. She is wearing a light pink nightgown. Charlie comes to the door and looks at Natalie. She sees him through the mirror, takes a drag, crashes her cigarette on the ashtray, and breathes out the smoke as she continues to paint her nails. Charlie walks forward and stands behind Natalie while gazing at her through the mirror. She glances at the mirror, catches his eyes, puts the nail brush aside, grabs her scotch, takes a sip, and puts it on the table. Natalie gets up, gets closer, throws her arms around his neck, and gives him a soft kiss on the lips. Natalie, what's it about you that make my heart ache? He says nothing. Natalie, do you still love me, Charlie? Before he answers, she kisses him. They kiss. They then part their lips and gaze at each other's eyes. Natalie, I missed you. They kiss more intimately. Int. Evita, restaurant and club, night. A seductive Spanish restaurant and club. Marilyn, wearing a red gown, and Max are in the middle of dinner. We see orquesta tipica that include 2 violinists, a piano player, a double bassist, and 2 bandoneons players. There are people dancing tango on the dance floor. Close up, Max and Marilyn. Max, what brings you to this part of the city? Marilyn, because of Alicia. She killed Frankie. Max, acting as if he doesn't know about it, is that right? Marilyn, I watched her shooting him. She tried to kill me too. But I escaped. Max, did you go to the police? Marilyn, no, I didn't. Max, the police think you killed Frankie. Marilyn, why do they think that? I didn't kill him. Max, they probably want to ask you few questions. Frankie himself was a wanted man by FBI. His real name is Tony Valentino. He did a couple of banks in his younger days while he was in Rome, and few hits for the mobs in Sicily. She gets silent. They gaze at each other's eyes tenderly. She then. Marilyn, what are you doing here? Max, I heard that you were the main attraction of the city. I thought it would be a good idea if I drop by, and say hi to you. Marilyn takes a sip from her drink. Marilyn, do you still work as a private investigator? Max, do you need anything? Marilyn turns her eyes at the direction of the entrance and sees Charlie and Natalie as they walk in. Marilyn, never mind, I asked you that. Close up, Charlie and Natalie. They walk to an open table and sit. Pan 2, Marilyn and Max. Marilyn, you know how to dance tango, don't you? Max, kind of. Marilyn, you want to dance? Max, sure. He gives her his hands. She takes his hand. They get up, walk to the dance floor, and begin to dance tango as if they had been dancing their whole lives. Close up, Charlie and Natalie. They look at the menus. Natalie, I am hungry. But I don't feel like eating anything. She puts down the menu. Charlie, that's ironic. I'm not hungry but I feel like eating something sweet and sour. Natalie knows what he means. She can't help but smile in beauty. A waitress named Maria comes to their table to take their orders. Maria, how may I take your order? Natalie, I'm okay. Just give me whiskey. I just had 2 glasses of scotches with an empty stomach. I think I can manage third with an empty heart. She gives her the menu. Maria looks at Charlie. Charlie looks at Natalie's eyes with tenderness. Charlie, to Maria, give us a minute. Maria, sure. She walks away. He looks at the mean. Charlie, I'll have dessert. Chocolate cake. Gives her the menu. What do you want to eat? Natalie gives him a soft smile, takes the menu from his hand, and looks at it. She then takes a glance at Charlie. Simultaneously, she sees Marilyn dancing tango with Max. Natalie puts down the menu. Natalie, let's just get out of this place. Charlie, why is that? Natalie, I don't like it here. Charlie, I thought it's your favorite restaurant in the city. Natalie, not anymore. Let's just leave. She gets up. Charlie, where do you want to go? Natalie, I don't care, anywhere but this place. Charlie, sure. He gets up, takes out $20, and puts it on the table. They walk toward the exit. Close up, Marilyn and Charlie. They continue to dance slow. Marilyn then sees Charlie as he walks toward the exit with Natalie. Charlie turns his eyes, sees Marilyn, lifts his hand instinctively, and says hi under his breath. Marilyn gives him a soft, beautiful smile. She says hi under her breath as well. Max looks at Charlie and Natalie as they exit. Max, who's that? Marilyn, Charlie. He looks exactly like you. Do you know him? Max, by reputation. Marilyn, what's it? Max, he once took a dive in a championship boxing match, costing a big-time gangster named Jimmy Ice millions of dollars in the account of that girl here in the City of Angels. Marilyn, do you know her too? Max, the whole world knows her. She used to be a famous actress. Once named the most beautiful girl in the world by Time magazine till she got herself into alcohol and drugs at young age. She went to rehab, put her act together, and became a well-known singer at Phillips Cottage in West Hollywood. Marilyn, is she Natalie Preston? Max, right. Marilyn, I always say I know that bitch. I have seen her somewhere. But I didn't know where it was. It's a small world. Max, tell me about it. She says nothing. They continue to dance. She then. Marilyn, do you think she's more beautiful than me? Max, I've never seen anything that's more beautiful than you in my life. They kiss. Int. Phillips Cottage, night. We are back at Phillips Cottage with Isaac Spand, Walter Bishop behind saxophone and Jerry Haywood playing piano. True love, jazz. Close up, Jimmy Ice. He sits at a table with a gorgeous girl named Sophia, 24. They are drinking whiskeys while smoking cigarettes. Jimmy takes a drag, turns his eyes, and sees Joey Razorblade and his bodyguards Roberto and Antonio at the entrance. Jimmy gives his bodyguards, George and Lima, a sign to let them in. Joey Razorblade enters and walks toward Jimmy's table, followed by his bodyguards. Jimmy crashes his cigarette on the ashtray and gets up to greet him. Joey Razorblade, "Hi, you doin'?" Jimmy Ice, "Hi." They shake hands and kiss on the cheeks Mobster style. Jimmy takes his seat. Antonio, Joey's bodyguard, pulls a chair for Joey. Joey sits at the table. Brittany, the waitress, comes with 2 martinis. She places the martini in front of Jimmy and Sophia. Jimmy Ice, "Drink." Joey Razorblade, "No thanks. I won't stay long." Jimmy gives Brittany a nod, to leave. She walks away. Joey Razorblade takes out a cigarette. Antonio lights the cigarette for him. Joey Razorblade, "How's Sugar?" Jimmy Ice, "She's okay." Joey Razorblade, "Where's she?" Jimmy Ice, "She is out." Joey Razorblade, "Where did she go?" Jimmy Ice, "She is with a good friend of her that she used to fuck with. I told him to take her out and show her good time. You know, she said she missed him. The Bible says, resist the devil and he will flee from you. I am not a jealous type. I wanted to respect her wish." Joey Razorblade, "That is good. You aren't alone either." Jimmy Ice, "Loneliness is a disease that beautiful girls can only cure." Joey Razorblade, "I couldn't agree more. She is an angel." To Sophia, "What is your name, sweetheart?" Joey Razorblade gives her his hand. She takes his hand. Sophia, Sophie. Joey Razorblade, "You're a beautiful girl, Sophie. To die for." Joey kisses her hand. Jimmy gives Sophia a kiss on the cheek and gives her a nod to leave. Sophia grabs her martini, gets up, and walks away, leaving Jimmy and Joey Razorblade to talk things over. Joey Razorblade, "Tell me, was she talking about you or Frank Sinatra?" Lauren Bacall said, "He was a womanizer. He wanted to be in the sack with everybody." Jimmy Ice, "What do you want, Joey?" Joey takes a drag and breathes out the smoke. Joey Razorblade, "Albert told me that you almost killed him." Jimmy Ice, "So?" Joey Razorblade, "What do you mean so?" There is a pause. They gaze at each other's eyes. None of them wants to back down. Jimmy Ice then. Jimmy Ice, "He owed me money, Joey. What did you expect me to do? Invite him over my house and watch him eat my mother out?" Joey Razorblade, "That would be rude. I would not approve that. But you have to understand one thing, Jimmy. Forget I'm the godfather of his only son. But he's my first wife younger brother. And I have 3 kids with her, which automatically makes him my kid's uncle. Jimmy Ice, it's good to know you have such an extended family. Just get to the point. We both know that you aren't here to tell me about your wonderful life." Joey Razorblade, "He told me that he gave you a diamond necklace that's worth more than the city of Los Angeles." Jimmy Ice, "Your point?" Joey Razorblade, in a serious manner, once Lauren said, "You don't have to say anything and you don't have to do anything. Oh, maybe just whistle. You just put your lips together and blow." She wasn't talking about dogs who bark. But she was referring to dogs who bites. And how she wanted to be eaten. You know what I mean, don't you, tough guy? Jimmy says nothing. Joey grabs Jimmy's martini, takes a sip, and puts it in front of him. Joey Razorblade, "You don't have to answer. But I was informed that you are about to sell the necklace to Alicia. And if it's not too much to ask, we'll take the necklace and you keep the money." Takes another sip. "Just tell me when and where the exchange takes place." Jimmy looks at Joey straight through his eyes with poise. Jimmy Ice, Orpheum Theater 842 South Broadway. Joey Razorblade nods sure. Jimmy gets up from his seat. Jimmy Ice, "Don't forget to bring Lauren Bacall with you. I might want to see that she still keeps her pubic hairs trim." Jimmy walks away, leaving Joey Razorblade on top of the screen. Joey Razorblade, "Little Miss Sunshine, as far as she can remember, she wants to get fucked." Joey grabs the martini, gives his 2 bodyguards "Be cool" sign with the glass, and takes a sip. On the soundtrack, Tiny Dancer by Elton John plays melodiously. EXT Water Fountain, Night. Marilyn circles around on the edge of a water fountain barefoot with Max, who is holding her hand. She's singing Elton John's Tiny Dancer from memory, which continues to play on the soundtrack harmoniously. Marilyn then lets Max's hand, collects her dress, and gets into the water fountain. She kicks the water at Max. He moves away. They are enjoying their outings. She then comes to Max and asks him to get in the water fountain, pulling his hand. He resists playfully. Marilyn pulls his hand firmly. Max holds his ground. Her hand slips. She falls into the water. Max then gets into the water fountain with his shoes and gives her his hand. She takes his hand. He pulls her up. She gets up. They stand lips to lips, gazing at each other's eyes. There is a pause. He then. "Max, do you mind if I fall in love with you?" Marilyn, "What's it for me?" He gets closer to her lips. Max, soft luscious kisses. They kiss. Out of nowhere a syringe that has a poisonous needle appears on Max's hand. He injects her in the neck. She lets out a small painful sound, ouch. Marilyn immediately falls in Max's arms. Max holds her and sits on the edge of the water fountain. Marilyn's head rests on his lap as she lies unconscious. Max strokes her hair sympathetically. Max, sweet dream, sleeping beauty. EXT/int. Natalie's convertible car, lake, night. We see starry skies, bright moon, twinkling stars, and the spectacular view of Los Angeles City. 1946 Cadillac convertible. Charlie is behind the wheel. Natalie sits in the passenger seat. They are in the middle of conversation. Natalie, why did you leave in the first place? Charlie, I didn't have a choice. Natalie, what do you mean you don't have a choice? Charlie, you know the story. I don't want to repeat myself. There is a pause. Natalie, so, why did you return? Charlie, I missed you. Long pause. She then. Natalie, do you know Jimmy wants to kill you for that? Charlie, yes, I do. And thanks. Natalie, for what? Charlie, he told me everything. Natalie, what did he exactly tell you? Charlie, he said he would rather see me dead than breathe the same air that I exhale. But he isn't going to touch me to keep you happy. She gets silent. She then. Natalie, why did you do it? Charlie, I didn't want to lose you. Natalie, how is that? Charlie, it's a long story. Natalie, does that mean you don't want to tell me? Charlie, I don't think you are going to find it sentimental. Natalie, just tell me. Charlie, the night of the fight, right before I entered into the ring, Joey Razorblade came to the locker room and told me personally that he would cut your face with a razor blade and leave you disfigure the rest of your life if I didn't go down in the 6 rounds. Natalie, he said that. Charlie, it didn't really matter. Nobody got hurt. Natalie, why didn't you tell me this before? Charlie, I was ashamed. I didn't want to sound a coward. I lost Jimmy's money. I lost my money. I lost that diamond engagement ring that I gave you for your birthday. The one you told me to hold it. I pawned it and bet everything on myself. It was too late. Joey came to me at the last minute and threatened to do all that cutting thing right before I enter the ring. And I would rather go hell burn for eternity than see anything bad happens to you. She gets closer and kisses him without saying a word. He kisses her. Close up, Charlie and Natalie. They kiss more intimately. She then senses something and parts her lips. Natalie, softly, what's it? He doesn't say anything. Natalie, it's that girl Marilyn, isn't it? He remains silent. Natalie slaps him. He doesn't react. But he looks at her with longing. Natalie looks at his eyes with passion. She gets closer and kisses him. Close up, Charlie and Natalie. They kiss more intimately. Int. Uncle Bobby coffee shop, playroom, night. Sean, Seth, and Luke sits in circle with Uncle Bobby. They are playing poker with 3 young extremely attractive girls, Amy, 23, Jasmine, 22, and Valeria, whom we saw with Sean earlier. Note, all the girls are sitting on the guys' laps. Sean, who is carrying Valeria, is on the spotlight. Sean, she is an oath. Where there's darkness, she's light. Where there's light, she's a rose. Where there are roses, she's a butterfly. Where there are butterflies, she's morning stardust. And where there's stardust, she is twilight. Where there is a faint of light, she's love at first sight. Sean kisses Valeria on the lips, melts down flash 10, J, Q, K, A hearts. At the door, Detective Matthew Johnson and Detective Kevin Anderson and 5 polices break into the room drawing their guns. Detective Anderson, it is police. Don't anybody fucking move. You're all under arrest. Uncle Bobby, what's it? Detective Johnson, shut the fuck up. Put your hand on your head. Sean, cops. They are fucking robots. Don't they have better things to do? Sean gives Valeria another kiss on the lips. Int. Rose Garden, night. Close up, Queen Bee on the stage. Queen Bee sings Billie Holiday's Don't Explain Jazz with Steve Jordan behind the piano. Pan 2, entrance. Detective Ben Smith walks in. Queen Bee sees him. A medium shot of Detective Smith. He comes to an empty table, takes a seat, and watches Queen Bee. Close up, Queen Bee. She continues to sing looking at Detective Smith. Ben continues to watch her. She then finishes singing with seductive voice. The audiences give her a round of applause. Ben claps as well. Int. Rose Garden, minutes later. Queen Bee walks up to Detective Smith and sits in front of him. Queen Bee, what's it, Ben? Detective Smith, I have to take you to downtown and ask you a few questions, regarding to a bank robbery. Out of nowhere comes 2 officers, and stand behind Queen Bee. She takes out a cigarette, places the cigarette on her lips, and looks at Ben if he has a lighter. Detective Smith takes out a lighter from his pocket, and lights her cigarette. She takes a drag, looks at his eyes with seduction, and breathes out the smoke by his face. Queen Bee, I heard that you don't play by the rule. Takes another drag from her cigarette. Did you have any secret that you would like to share with me before you take me? I just made the bed myself few hours ago. She breathes the smoke at his face. Int. Charlie's convertible car, moving, night. Charlie is behind the wheel driving alone. He takes out a cigarette, lights, and smokes as he continues to drive in the city of Los Angeles. EXT Orpheum Theater, night. Charlie comes driving, pulls his car in front of the theater, opens the door, steps out of the vehicle, and walks toward the theater. Int. Or Femme Theater, main room, night. It's a huge theater. It looks like a cathedral. There is nobody in the room except Alicia. She is sitting at the edge of the stage with a glass of wine and a cigarette. She has a bag next to her that has full of money. Charlie walks in. Alicia looks at him. Charlie comes to the stage and stops few feet from her. She looks at his eyes with seduction. Alicia, you must be Charlie. Charlie, that is a good guess. Alicia, have I seen you somewhere before? Charlie, I doubt it. I, myself, had run into a couple of guys who looks like me. It could be déjà vu. Alicia, humorously I like déjà vu. Gazes at his eyes with seduction. What do you know about 6-degree separation? Charlie, nothing. Alicia, I heard it's you who stole that famous Marie Antoinette diamond necklace in the first place and sold it to a man named Tommy, a small-time con artist. Tommy then sold it to Leo. And Leo sold it to Frankie, to my deceased husband. Actually, I killed him. Charlie says nothing. She looks at him straight through his eyes. Alicia, referring to the bag next to her, here I got the money. Where is it? Charlie, touching his heart somewhere safe. She gives him an alluring smile. We can tell she is overwhelmed by his charm from the get-go, as if she were looking at Jesus Christ. He is taken by her sexual appeal and sense of eroticism as well. She opens her legs in seduction. Alicia, I want to show you something. The stage opens revealing Marilyn. We see a rope around her neck. Andrew and Ian stand next to her. They are waiting for an order from Alicia to hang Marilyn. All they have to do is remove the chair that's keeping her away from strangulation. Close up, Alicia. Alicia, I believe you know who she is, Marilyn Monroe. Charlie is shocked inside. Close up, Marilyn. She wants to scream Charlie's name aloud. But she can't scream. Her mouth is covered with duct tape. Charlie, under his breath, Marilyn. To Alicia. What is she doing here? Alicia, I thought you could answer that. Charlie, let her go. She has nothing to do with it. Alicia, I'm afraid I can't do that. She is the reason we all are here in the first place. About 5 weeks ago, this bitch. Close up, Marilyn with the rope around her neck. Alicia, off-screen, took the same necklace that you stole, and ran away. Close up, Alicia. Alicia, till I sent every private detective and hitman in the city to find her. Nobody guessed that she would be here in Los Angeles fucking with you, but this Sex Pistol. Max comes out from the backstage, holding a gun, and stands next to Alicia. Alicia, to Charlie, didn't I tell you I have seen you somewhere? Alicia gives Max a sexual kiss. They kiss lasciviously. They part their lips. He sits next to her. Alicia, to Max, you guys must be twins, except you wear an eye patch. He doesn't. Alicia rests her head on Max's lap. Max, I think we must have been separated at birth. Caressing Alicia hair. I don't know where he grew up. But I grew up in the foster house, dreaming one day I would be a movie star, till I lost my eye. I had to reconsider things that I can do with one eye. Alicia, that's sad. Max, anyway, the flesh doesn't make the man. His action makes the man. We're totally two different persons. Alicia, it must be his eyes. He's extremely sexy. I am getting wet just looking at his face. Max, I bet my heart on Marilyn. If somehow you spare her life, I would love to spend the night with her. Close up, Marilyn. She looks lost with noose around her neck. Her tears are right around the corner of her eyes, yet she doesn't let them fall. Close up, Charlie. Charlie, I don't care if you want to fuck cats in the street, but don't hurt that girl. Max, nobody is going to hurt her. Just give us the necklace. We'll let her go. We're not the bad guys here. It's the nature of the business. Alicia, I'll kill her regardless. Looks at Charlie with seduction, tie you and have sex without your consent if you don't give me the necklace. Max, why does he get so lucky? You can have sex with me without my consent anytime. You don't even have to tie me. Alicia, the tying part is fun. She gets up from Max's lap. Alicia, walking up to Charlie, except I leave you alone in one condition. I want you to come and work for me. Whispering by his ear. You can take the man out of hell, but you can't take out the devil in him, work for me. Softly by his lips. I'll make your life worthwhile. Alicia caresses Charlie's lips with her lips, circles around him with seduction. She then returns to Max, and stands between Max's legs while gazing at Charlie's eyes. Alicia, so, what's it? Charlie looks at her soul straight through her eyes softly. Charlie, there's only one bridge between life and death that you have to cross, and once you crossed it, you can't return. I'll give you the necklace. Out of nowhere, Charlie produces our favorite Marie Antoinette diamond necklace. Just let Marilyn go. He throws the necklace to her. She catches it. Alicia, I like you style, Charlie. You got heart. But you have to understand something about me. I don't draw line or build a bridge. I love to mix business with pleasure. She gives Max her lips as if she were trying to make Charlie jealous. Max kisses her. They kiss more seductively. Alicia part her lips. Alicia, to Charlie, I don't want to hurt her. Close up, Marilyn. She holds her tears as her life continues to hang on the rope. Charlie hasn't taken his eyes off Alicia ever since he saw the rope around Marilyn's neck, except when she walked around him, that split second. Charlie, just let her go. Max, pointing his gun at Charlie, watch your timing, Charlie, when you give a lady, who has your balls on the palm of her hand, an order. She might squeeze it by accident. Alicia, it's okay. Pushes down Max's gun hand. He got me where he wants me. And the question is what he gonna do with me. We know Andrew and Ian are waiting for the slightest sign from Alicia to hang Marilyn. But we don't know what Charlie is thinking. He continues to gaze at Alicia's eyes softly as if he were trying to enter her mind and alter her thoughts with psyche power. Alicia then turns her eyes to Ian and Andrew. Alicia, guys, get her down. Alicia turns her eyes and looks at Charlie's eyes with sexual desire. She does not know how he hypnotizes her. She can't take her eyes off him. She is overwhelmed by strong sexual desire and lust toward him. Andrew and Ian begin to remove the rope out of Marilyn's neck and hands. Close up, Alicia. Alicia, you win. You can take her home. But this necklace stays here with me. Alicia gives Max the necklace. Max puts his gun aside, takes the necklace, and places it around Alicia's neck. Close up, Marilyn. She removes the duct tape from her lips, and runs to Charlie with her all instinct. Charlie keeps his eyes on Alicia. Marilyn comes up to Charlie. He takes his eyes off Alicia and looks at Marilyn. She looks at him. Her tears fall by her cheeks. They hug affectionately. Charlie kisses Marilyn on the temple. At the other end of the opera house, Joey Razorblade storms in with Roberto and Antonio carrying machine guns and 3 more goons who are carrying silencer and artilleries. Everybody turns their attention, looks at them. Max draws his gun at them. Charlie hides Marilyn from potential danger. Ian and Andrew quickly draw their guns at the visitors. Joey Razorblade and his gangs march down the aisle and come to Alicia. Alicia remains super cool. Joey looks at Max as he walks to Alicia. She gives Joey her hand. He takes her hand, kisses it. Alicia, what are you doing here? Joey Razorblade, they told me you are playing Blanche in a streetcar named Desire. I thought I might surprise you with my friends. Alicia, that's a thought of you. What do you want? Joey Razorblade, you had something that belongs to me? Alicia, let me guess. 2 of your testicles. Roberto and Antonio point their guns at Alicia. On the other hand, Max, Andrew, and Ian draw their guns at Joey Razorblade. Joey quickly lifts his hand, telling his gangs to be cool. Joey Razorblade, guys, let's not get carried away. Just be cool. She's right. She got both of my nuts, ever since I got her luscious lips on my hit list. Alicia, it seems we are even. Joey Razorblade, maybe. But you are wearing the necklace. Just tell me where the money is. Out of nowhere come Detective Colton and Detective Wesley, Detective Smith, Detective Johnson, and 5 other officers from both sides of the backstage with their gun drawn. Detective Smith, police. Don't anybody fucking move, you're all under arrest. Colton, put the fucking guns down on the floor slowly, this is LAPD. It is a Mexican standoff like True Romance, gangsters carrying all kinds of guns at one side, down the stage, Charlie, Marilyn, Alicia, Max, Ian, and George in the middle, and the police officers with handguns on the stage. Joey Razorblade, what's this, a Midsummer Night's Dream? Roberto, with machine gun I don't know, boss. It's the Phantom of Opera. Just let me know. I'll make spaghetti bowls out of their fucking heads. Detective Smith, put the fucking guns down now and surrender. Then. At the entrance, Jimmy Ice and 6 of his bodyguards, Cooper, George, Lima, Adam, Arturo, and Rod, comes uninvited with machine guns and shotguns. Everybody looks at the situation. What the fuck is this? Charlie holds Marilyn closer. Close up, Jimmy Ice. He marches down with his bodyguards. Jimmy Ice, am I missing something? Joey Razorblade, you just arrive in the middle of Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing. Detective Smith, all of you, put your guns down. It's your last warrant. Charlie covers Marilyn from any unpredictable danger. Jimmy Ice, to be or not to be, that is the fucking question. Jimmy lets his gun go, hitting Ben on the chest. Ben goes down firing. The cops fire at the bad guys. Charlie quickly grabs Marilyn, hits the floor, rolls under the stage by the stairs as all of them go at it shooting like hell. On the soundtrack, Caruso by Luciano Pavarotti plays melodiously. Cylinders of guns. Extreme close-up, on the mouths of the guns. One gun after another with a creative camera work dissolving to other guns as the bullets vamoose out of the cylinders with excellent cinematography work. Only the gun's mouth spitting bullets. Cut to Charlie and Marilyn under the stair. Charlie holds Marilyn closer to his heart as he covers her from any potential danger and unpredictable bullets. They roll down and gazes at each other's eyes with tenderness. Then. They kiss intimately. Back to the cylinders of guns. Bullets continue to exit from the chamber of everybody's guns with artistic take. Back to Charlie and Marilyn. They continue to kiss intimately. Then. It gets quiet. Charlie and Marilyn kiss French and part their lips. Theater stage. Charlie and Marilyn come out the hide. Everybody is down except Max. He is nowhere to be seen. Close up, Alicia. She lies on the floor down by the stage. She has a bullet wound in her stomach. Charlie slowly lets Marilyn's hand go and walks up to Alicia. Close up, Alicia. Alicia, I am cold. Charlie takes his jacket off, places it on Alicia to keep her warm, and sits with his knee to comfort her. Alicia gives him a sweet smile. Alicia, do you have a cigarette? Charlie takes out a cigarette from his pocket and places it on her lips. He takes out a lighter, a match from his pocket, lights the cigarette, has a drag, breathes out the smoke, and places the cigarette on Alicia's lips. She can't hold it. She has no strength. Instead, he holds it for her. She takes a drag and breathes out the smoke. Charlie, you are going to be fine. He places the cigarette on her lips. She takes a long drag and breathes out the smoke with style. Alicia, thanks. Charlie, I have to go. The police are coming. Alicia, take good care of yourself. He nods, sure, kisses his 2 fingers, slightly rubs them on her cheek, showing love. Her eyes are filled with tears. Alicia smiles softly and closes her eyes. Tears escape from her eyes and fall by the side of her face as she falls unconscious. Marilyn comes to Charlie and places her hand on his shoulder. He gets up. Marilyn takes the cigarette from his hand and smoke. Marilyn, let's get out of here. She throws her arms around him and kisses him. They kiss French for long seconds. On the soundtrack, music plays melodiously. Charlie turns his eyes and looks at the Marie Antoinette diamond necklace on the floor. He ignores it and continues to kiss Marilyn sweetly. In/EXT convertible car, moving, sunrise. Charlie drives in the city of Los Angeles. Marilyn rests on his shoulder with closed eyes. He kisses her on the temple. She opens her eyes and gives him her lips. They kiss as they continue to drive. The camera moves to the back, revealing Marilyn's Bichon Frise. Close up, the dog. The Bichon Frise barks. Int. St. Mary Hospital, bed, day. Alicia rests on the hospital bed unconscious. At the entrance, Max stands, leaning against the door with bouquet of flowers. He walks in, places the bouquet on the table, takes a rose, and places it next to her face. He looks at her for long seconds, then turns around, and walks toward exit. She opens her eyes and looks at him as he exits. EXT Charlie's convertible, sunset. We see orange sun and dark blue sky. Charlie sits on edge on his convertible. Marilyn stands between Charlie's legs with her arms wrapped around his neck. They talk between soft kisses in twilight. We don't hear what they are saying due to the music on the soundtrack. They kiss French as the twilight continue to breeze on their faces in splendor. Out of nowhere Charlie produces Marie Antoinette diamond necklace and shows it to Marilyn. Marilyn is not impressed by the necklace, but thinks it might be worth something. Charlie places the necklace around her. She wraps her arms around his neck and kisses him. Close up, Charlie and Marilyn. They kiss more intimately. Int. Philip's cottage, night. Natalie signs on the stage Sarah Vaughan's Shadow of Your Smile. The audiences watch her silently. We see Max sitting at the back. He can't take his eyes off her. He is spellbound by her sense of beauty. He is looking at her eyes as if he found the missing beat of his heart. Natalie looks at him and gives him an alluring smile as she continues to sing seductively. Max takes out the engagement ring from his pocket that we saw at Rio Coffee Shop earlier, and looks at it. He puts it on the table and continues to watch Natalie in bewilderment. Natalie finishes singing, walks up to Max, and sits at his table. He pushes the box in front of her. She opens and looks at it. Max, will you marry me? She takes the ring out of the box, puts it in front of him, and gives him her finger. Max places the ring on her finger. Natalie looks at the ring how it looks on her finger. She smiles in beauty, gets up, walks around the table, sits on his lap, and puts her arms around him. Natalie, who are you? Max, I am nobody. Natalie, under her breath I don't care. She kisses him. They kiss alluringly as customers watch them in astonishment. On the soundtrack, music plays melodiously. Int. Bedroom, night. Mickey and Marilyn make love. It's steamy, enchanting, and passionate. We stay with them with series cuts. Int. Bathtub, night. Mickey and Marilyn sit in the bathtub. He is behind. She is resting on his chest with close eyes. He whispers something down by her ear, a poem. On the soundtrack, the music continues to play melodiously. She then smiles in beauty. He kisses her on the shoulder. She opens her eyes and gives him her lips. They kiss intimately. Int. Norma Jean, restaurant, night. 2017. Charlie is sleeping on the table. Rachel, the waitress, wakes him up. Rachel, I am sorry to wake you up. But we are closing. Charlie doesn't know where he is. Charlie gets up. Charlie, what time is it? Rachel, 4 a.m. in the morning. The place is closed. Charlie, sorry. I didn't mean to fall asleep. It must have been the pie. It was delicious. Take care. Rachel, bye. Charlie walks toward the exit, looking at the photos of Marilyn. EXT Norma Jean, restaurant, night. Charlie exits, comes to the payphone, grabs the phone, and thinks about making a call. But he changes his mind, hangs up the phone, and walks to his car. Corvette convertible. Charlie gets behind the wheel, starts his car, and drives away. On the soundtrack, Let Her Go by Passenger plays melodiously. EXT Street, California, morning. Charlie continues to drive in the state of California. An established shot of Charlie's convertible driving at the direction of the camera. EXT Street, California, day. We see a beautiful girl named Nicola, 22, standing next to the billboard and waiting for a ride. She looks at Charlie's car and puts her thumb out. Charlie slows down and stops the car next to her. On the soundtrack, the music plays softly. Nicola, are you going to LA? Charlie, yes, I am. Nicola, can I ride with you? Charlie, sure. She opens the door, gets in the passenger seat, and closes the door. Charlie starts the car and continues to drive. Nicola, I have to be at Beverly Hills before 2 p.m. I am auditioning for this upcoming movie called Lethal Kiss, remake of Double Indemnity starring Barbara Stanwyck and Fred McMurray. Charlie, don't worry. I will get you there on time. Nicola, thanks. Charlie, you're welcome. There is a silent moment. Then, Charlie turns his eyes, and looks at her. She catches his eyes. They exchange soft alluring smiles. An established shot of Charlie's car as it continues to drive down the street. On the soundtrack, Crazy for You by Madonna plays melodiously. Then, our camera pans to the billboard. We see the poster of Marilyn Monroe, the famous picture of 7-year itch, her dress getting blown up above her waist by a passing train below. But this time, she's wearing a red dress. She is also wearing Marie Antoinette diamond necklace. It reads My Beautiful Marilyn. Stars August 10, 2017. Then with amazing camera work the pixels on the billboard changes and finds ourselves with Charlie and Marilyn at a Tropicana beach. EXT Beach, day. Charlie and Marilyn are swimming. They get out of the water, smiling, laughing, and playing. Charlie chases Marilyn as she runs down the shoreline, and grabs her. She cuddles him, wrapping her legs around him. They kiss. Charlie then brings her down. They fall on the sand, kissing. Charlie, softly down by her lips. Do you have any idea how beautiful you are? Marilyn, tell me about it. Charlie, beautiful love. He gives her a soft kiss. She puts her arms around his neck. They kiss. Close up, Marilyn and Charlie. They kiss more intimately. The end.